Fill her up.
You're listening to the Gas Digital Network.
Are we on, Jorge? Are we really on? Is this happening for real? Is this going to be kept? Are we going to get to play this or just going to get wasted like that other beautiful episode? Oh, was that our opus, bro?
The best episode.
Was that the best episode ever? Got
Yeah.
fucking deleted. I wish you guys were hearing that and not my voice right now. But I am the one talking. I am Mickey Gall.
That's right.
And now the person who is Gerard Michaels is about to start talking now.
Yes. That was him. That was the one, the only Mickey Gall. All 6'3", 200 pounds of them. Every one of them is a problem. The CEO of the RNC, the master of punks, the tamer of sages, the king of the ring himself is here with us today. That is Omre, our Israeli producer. I am Gerard Michaels.
Hombre, da-dee-da, hombre, da-dee-da, hombre, it is hombre.
Yes, that's right. And this is the best part of your Monday, folks. This is your Monday lunch break.
But
You're
it would be
halfway
better
through
if
your
we were
Monday.
giving them the podcast that we did but didn't get recorded because of the
Yes.
audio fuck up.
Yeah.
That was the
This
shit, bro.
reminds me of a time
That one was so good, huh?
that it was incredible. And it reminds me of a time that it's a I guess has this been confirmed, Omre, or is this one of these myths that Macho Man Randy Savage had a fight, had a wrestling match, and it went poorly, or they forgot to record because there wasn't Monday Night Raw, it wasn't live back in the day, there was pre-recorded, and then they played on Saturday, and Vince McMahon made Macho Man, and I want to say Ricky Steamboat, I could be wrong, made them go back out and do the match again.
Oh, for the TV folks?
Yes.
Oh.
So there was something with the recording. I'm ready. You can check it out. And that makes me wonder if a pay-per-view goes dark and Mickey Gall is in the octagon and you're fighting somebody and you win and you got to go back to the room. Now you've just done 3 rounds, 15 minutes of battle.
No. Well, our shit
And
is you can't even compare that.
Dana White, Uncle Dana says, Mick, we got to have you go back out there. You going back out there?
Oh, you gotta pay me again. For sure. Yeah, 100%.
Pay
I gotta
that
go
man.
fight. We're gonna go
Pay that
fight again.
man
We're
his
gonna
money.
go push our chips into the fucking
That's
pot
right.
and let it fucking roll.
Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta pay me again for sure.
$15, Put that shit in my hand.
You could use the cell phone cameras from around the place. Or they have multiple cameras. I don't know. I thought this place would have had multiple. I got cameras here. I'm talking into this.
Yep.
I thought there had to, all day. I'm like, there has to be a way.
We have an Israeli producer. He's Mossad. They
Yeah.
record you when you don't even want to be recorded.
I can't believe it. I'm perplexed. I'm burnt up. I'm bummed out.
He's vexed. He's terribly vexed right now.
Yes.
I'll reach out to my uncle in the Mossad and ask him if we can get your phone recordings for that hour. And,
They have them already.
All right, great.
I guarantee
we
they
could.
have
Yeah,
them. We're
Can
already
can
on
we do
the
that?
list.
Yeah.
Fuck.
Man, yo.
But I'll tell you what, though, Mickey. These
I wish I could
sure do
share
make
that.
it better.
I wish I could share that with the people.
Yeah.
That episode. Yeah.
The only way we can get through this is
Toothpicks.
my sweet whiskey Zippix. I don't
Yeah.
drink whiskey anymore, but I'll sure have a dipped Zippix. And
Throw one of
boy,
these bad boys in there.
yeah,
Oh, I'm ready.
make it feel pretty
They're
good.
fragrant, bro.
I'll take it.
It might be
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
See
You
that?
don't get one, Jorge.
Yeah, bro.
You're in
you got a
timeout.
lot. You got a lot of work to do.
You got.
You have a lot of proving.
It's not that
yourself
I'm
to
mad
do.
at you. I'm just disappointed in you, Jorge.
I'm mad. And then we
I think we need to explain to the listeners that we almost had a second lost episode. So they don't understand why we're razzing on him again.
Yeah.
It almost happened twice.
Well, as a joke, I was like, "Hey, so we actually fucking recording?" And he was like, "Yeah." And he's like, "Oh wait, no."
Yeah.
And thank God we did that at the jump.
Yeah. Yeah. As the great Shane Gillis once said, Gas Digital not work.
I didn't know he said that, but fuck, I guess there's something to that.
Speaking of great, Louis C.K. came out.
Speaking of great, how great was our fucking episode?
Oh, it was fantastic. It was the best piece of content I've seen.
It was unbelievable.
You seen on any podcast across the board?
Oh, 100%.
Come on, baby.
It was good.
Come
It
on.
was solid. Some of my best work for sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Well,
I felt good about it.
well, we'll be trying to live up to that for the rest of our days. It was the first beer cast.
Yeah.
We
That's
you and
right,
me had
it was
a couple
a beer
beers. It was
cast.
a beer cast. No one
That's what
even
it was.
knew.
We were hammered.
We weren't hammered.
I was hammered.
No, you weren't.
Yeah, it was an IPA, a couple IPAs, 9%ers. I got progressively more enlightened as the episode went on. Was a beer cast. Us losing that episode is almost like when the library at Alexandria burned down. Who knows where
it's the
society
similarity.
would be right now had that fire not consumed all of human knowledge up to that point.
Actually,
Oh, I
have
thought you were talking
interesting
about the
take on that.
podcast.
Yeah,
I was
yeah,
saying,
yeah.
Can you imagine where the world would be had that been released? Like
We
it was supposed
might
to
be by this Monday at Mars had
Yeah.
people listen to that podcast.
Yeah, well,
The thing about the Library of Alexandria is actually it kind of got blown out of proportion. I read about this very recently.
no, it got burned, not blown.
No, they
He's
were.
right, it was burnt.
I know, but most of the things that were out there were already copied to other libraries.
Is that right?
So the loss of knowledge was actually kind of minuscule. It was mostly loss of original text.
Oh, okay.
But they were already.
You know,
like,
it's not
written and
burnt or
transcribed.
blown out of
Got it.
proportion.
So the Israeli says that the Egyptians are lying. That's weird.
Yeah,
Weird.
go figure.
Weird.
Yeah.
That's new. Yeah. It's like it wasn't even that big of a deal.
Yeah,
the Nile's like a
so,
lake.
so.
It's like not even a river. It's like
Yeah.
it's a stream most of the part.
Yeah.
Fucking,
You know?
yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well, fuck.
I'm all with
It
it.
is what it is. I'm still mad. But
Yeah.
it's all good.
I do wonder.
I gotta keep
what
Mad
knowledge
Mickey.
we
Mad
did.
Mickey isn't a good guy.
Mad Mickey?
Mad Mickey's no good.
I like Mad Mickey.
Mad
When,
Mickey's
when
no
you
good.
when we first started this podcast, you were days out from a fight. You were on edge, boy. You were on edge. Now I think you just haven't been hit or hit anything in a long time. You're just looking for a reason.
I don't know.
You're ready to rock.
I keep it. I
Feeling antsy.
I've worked very hard to keep this smiling, happy-go-lucky, positive person.
Yeah.
All right.
Uh-huh.
Mad Mickey's a danger to everyone, including myself.
I'm seeing
right.
I'm seeing some cracks in the armor.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're ready to rock, man.
Yeah.
You're hanging on to eye contact too long. you're,
The psychosis is coming out.
you got like a devious smile where your forehead comes down and the sides of your fucking cheeks go up. It's good. Yeah, like that. Like yeah.
What do you mean?
Yeah. Like a real fucking Heath Ledger-y over
Yeah,
here,
right.
bud. Yeah.
People are saying I look like Jim Carrey.
Who's
I don't.
saying
I
you
don't
look
find
like
that to
Jim
be a
Carrey?
compliment.
Jim Carrey?
Yeah, people have been
Not a
saying.
bad looking guy. He's just a tiny guy.
I bet Jim Carrey's tall.
I'm telling you, it's your body type. People think you're smaller than you are until they're next to you. And he's very whitey.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah.
Well, man.
Yeah. Well, fuck, man. Whatever.
I wonder-
What are we? What?
I wonder what
bullshit are we
knowledge.
gonna talk
I wonder
about
what
today?
knowledge we actually lost in the fire at Alexandria. I do wonder what knowledge was lost. I wonder, again, we talked about this, I don't know how many podcasts back, but I am fascinated by the fact that humans have existed for hundreds of thousands of years, but in 10,000 years, we went from being civilized, first civilizations, to the fucking moon. How 100,000 years of human existence, and we were horse and buggy up until fucking 100 years ago.
Yeah.
And now we got fucking stealth bombers, nuclear powered submarines. Like shit happened
It's
fast.
been quite an escalation.
Shit.
Yeah.
It's
It's a rapid escalation.
we're really moving
Fucking
here.
killing it.
Yeah. We are as humans are killing it.
Do you think this is the best time to be alive in history of the world?
For humans, for sure. Absolutely. I don't even think it's close.
You specified for humans. Are you saying like for some sort of apex predator? Maybe not so much. Like
Yeah.
like all the tigers we got in the zoos.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah, for them it's probably not so good.
Probably
It-
not
It
so
was
good.
probably better being on the Serengeti
Yeah.
or whatever the
It's
fuck.
definitely better for manatees 500 years ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think for humans, look at even the anti-human World Economic Forum and these ultra globalist liberals who literally hate humans. The number one thing that they say is a threat to humanity is climate change, not the climate crisis. The number two thing is overpopulation. We're so good at humanity. There's so many of us that they think that there's too many of us.
So easy to stay alive nowadays.
Yeah, and quality of life is better. Literacy is up. Infant death rates
Comfort,
are down.
but I think a lot of times comfort is bad.
Comfort is a slow death.
Yeah.
Maybe. I mean, we
Like
talk.
it's hard for a king to go to war when he's sleeping in satin sheets.
Absolutely.
It's hard to get up and go do things when you could just go lay and watch Netflix.
Yeah, but there's also never been a time in your life where you went to bed and we're genuinely concerned that
Someone's gonna
the
storm my
barbarians were going to come through in the middle of the night
Right.
and steal your aunts and your mother and your sister, and you'd have to fight them off. Like that's a
So do you
relatively
think that's what's
new
allowed
thing.
us to skyrocket our innovations so much?
No doubt about it.
Yeah, that we didn't have to worry about that shit.
Security.
We could focus on other
Security
things.
and resources, right? Like all these wars weren't for like no reason. The wars are for resources, security.
Right.
The Vikings. Well, first of all, there were no such thing as Vikings, right? You had to go Viking. It was a verb, right? So it drives me out of my mind. But,
That's interesting.
Yeah,
That's some knowledge right there.
yeah. So like the Norse, the northern people, the Norse, they had no farmland. They had to venture out for, resource
My
reasons.
people
I'm sure there's
predated the
greed.
Vikings.
Who are your people?
The Germanic tribes.
Oh, you're a Teuton. The Teutons. Are you Teutonic?
I don't know if I'm a Teuton or a Teutonic.
Yeah.
Um,
They're a warring people.
yeah, they lived above the Romans, and then they became like
Were
they
you a Gall?
No, I don't think so.
But
that's
are you
with a
Mickey
U.
the Gall?
The Gall?
Huh.
No, I don't know where really my name comes from. But
Are you familiar with who Arminius was, or Herman in German?
no,
Oh,
but I like history.
history. One of the most badass motherfuckers in history. Are you familiar with Arminius?
I am not. No.
Armin, also known as Herman, known today, or the German, the father of German nationalism.
Well, go ahead and say some badass shit about him,
Yeah,
buddy.
all right. So he was a Cherusci. He was and back in the day, what the Romans would do on their borders would be they would have vassals, so they wouldn't like take over you, but you had to pay tribute to them, right? No different than the mafia, right? Like you got to pay the vig, but they go ahead.
The government.
Exactly, got to pay. You think you own your house? Stop paying taxes.
Yeah.
You pay. You think you own that thing? Stop paying property tax.
Yeah.
See how quickly that thing no longer becomes yours.
Right.
Yeah, so they would take the sons from the chieftains and hold them as hostages back in Rome, and it served twofold. It was one, hey, mess with us, and don't forget we got your son, and the other side of it is that they actually treated them really well. They treated them like royalty, and they brought them up speaking Latin, speaking Greek, because remember the Romans, the higher ups, the aristocrats spoke Greek. Latin was the language of the plebs, so they taught them Greek. They educated them in Greek. They knew how to read and write in Greek, and they would put them into the Roman legions. So Arminius ended up becoming I believe a lieutenant, maybe even a general in the Roman army, and was a traitor to the Romans, and led an ambush through the Teutoburg forest. You got to look it up.
Teutoburg Forest.
Teutoburg Forest, and killed 2 full legions of Roman soldiers.
3.
3 legions.
How
3
many in a
legions.
legion? How many in a legion?
It depleted the Roman army, and the Roman army didn't get back across the Rhine for like a generation.
Between 5,000 and 6,000 men.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
Oh.
Brilliant what he did. He knew that
Fongul.
he knew that the Romans couldn't be beat in open warfare,
Right.
because of their structure and their discipline, and how well they were armed, and how well they were trained. So he convinced them to go through this forest, and that they'd get out ahead of this army, and it made them basically become like long thin lines.
So was this guy? What was he? Was he?
He was a Cherusci. He was Germanic, and he
All right. So yes.
Yeah.
So I think they just made a show called The Barbarians.
yes,
I haven't seen it.
yes.
But I think that's those people. In the beginning of Gladiator, which I don't love. Everyone think that'd be like one of my favorite movies.
You don't love Gladiator?
I don't love it.
We've talked about this.
I don't love it. I don't love it.
I'm flabbergasted that you don't like Gladiator.
I don't know. But anyway, in the beginning of Gladiator, they were trying to finish off the
Marcus Aurelius,
the
yeah.
barbarians,
Yep.
but they could never get the
The
Romans could
barbari-
never conquer them.
You know what the barbarians were?
But they would hire them to then like help like lead their legions and
Yep.
stuff, and would
Similar-
be war masters and shit.
Yeah, they ended up becoming the Romans, And the barbarians, the quote unquote barbarians, were just people that were non-Romans, people that
Right.
That's so they could have
That's
been
where they
German,
got
they could have
the
been
name
Gallic,
from.
they could have been Celtic. Yeah,
Yeah.
It was like these plebs, these non-Romans, and it could have been Germanic, they could have been Celtic, they could have been anything.
Mm-hmm.
But later on, the Huns and Attila, and before that, Odoacer was the guy who actually ended the Roman Empire, and most Romans didn't know it because they so respected Roman structure. They kept the Senate, and they made themselves the emperor essentially, and then the barbarians became, these Romans, and that's when the, Eastern Roman Empire was like, no, you're not Roman, we're Roman, and then
Right.
and what we consider the Byzantine Empire never once called themselves Byzantine, they called themselves Roman, all the way up until the Ottoman Empire ended it in Constantinople. That was still considered the Roman Empire. So, very, very fascinating, and even the Russian Tsar, Caesar, the German Kaiser. We call Caesar in Latin was Kaiser, so Kaiser. The Roman Empire echoes strongly through today's politics.
It's also still the word in Hebrew for emperor. It's Kaisal.
Really?
Same thing.
No shit. How about that? And the I believe it was Charlemagne and the idea of French nationality when they were separating from Germanic, and these tribes were like becoming national, and the state was becoming a thing. They used language to separate, so they put this like soft C and S on everything. So Ka became S, and that was like a way to be like French and stuff like that. But Charlemagne, I guess, it's weird. Germans consider him German, French consider him French. And, but he's kind of the father of modern Europe in many ways. But getting back to the original point of...
the Germanic dude.
Yeah, Arminius and then Odoacer. But Arminius was able to get all the tribes to come together. That was his big thing. The Romans were brilliant.
So he kind of united.
They were brilliant, and the strategies that they used are still being used today. They were like, why do we want to fight a united people? They'd be like, they'd go to the
So discord.
yes.
Yeah.
They'd go to the Cherusci and they'd be like, these sons of bitches over there, these Alpine bastards, they were talking about stealing your women. They were saying what? Yeah, they were like, yo, these guys are bitches. We can just
over
take
there
their
talking
women.
shit.
Yeah. That's how Rome was founded, by the way. I don't know if most people know this.
Wow, keep going with your history lesson here, Gerard. And then I got some history too, motherfucker.
Rome was founded on rape.
Oh.
Founded on rape,
I don't get
100%. So Romulus and Remus, you had the fight between the two brothers.
Remus.
Yeah. So
Guess who won? Romulus.
Romulus,
That's why it's called
Rome. Yeah. And he was, he became king. And that was a place where all of these exiles and, kind of pirates and these tough guys.
Kinda.
Exactly.
Romulus, Remus.
Yeah. And they looked around and they were like, yeah, we're a bunch of badasses. We're starting our own city. And then they were like, I don't really have any women.
Hey, wait. With the Romulus and Remus story, wasn't someone put in like a basket like Moses too? And like put into the river?
Yeah.
There was something like that. I can't remember it.
Both
now.
of them.
Romulus and Remus were both put in a basket in the
Yes,
water.
they were the king. They were the sons of the king, as the myth goes. They were the sons of the king. I forget what city, but they were sons of the king, and the king's brother betrayed him and deposed him, and then the nanny, I guess, saved the kids from being killed, put them in a basket. The river floated, and then a she-wolf suckled them.
Yes.
And kept them alive. It was
Yes.
a she-wolf. Probably just a hairy Italian broad. but it was a she-wolf. And then they grew up to be these badasses, and then somehow they reunited with their father and realized that they were of noble blood and avenged his death. And then they couldn't agree over who should run it, and then they had the fight, and something with birds on a hill and all this other shit. And Romulus wins by killing his bro. And then they have a bunch of dudes who are like, we're badass, and they're like, we need some bitches. And they throw a party, and they kind of red wedding this thing, and they like kill all these girls' husbands, and they're like, hey, guess what? You're mine now. And all their dads and brothers came to their rescue like months later. A lot of these girls were pregnant, and they were gonna fight, and then it was the women who had been captured and raped who stopped it and they were like, "These are the fathers of our children," and no, don't fight. Don't. Then they stopped the fight, and then these guys became they became allies.
No shit. Yeah, they
And
don't really
that's
teach that too
Rome.
much in Latin class.
Nah,
They don't really talk about that part.
Rome was
leave
built
that out.
on war and rape, and
I got some
we
fucking
built the
history for
Western
you.
society on Rome.
You know, they're saying Ben Franklin could be a serial killer.
That's what.
So Ben Franklin, they went to his a house that he lived in London, and they in like the basement or like under the grounds they found like 12,000 human bones.
Wait, when did Ben Franklin live in London?
I think he might have summered there. I think he might have been like a.
He's
what
a
do
very
they call
worldly
that?
man. He spent a lot of time in Paris. I know that.
Yeah, but so he had his like family, I believe his like wife like in the States and stuff, and then he had like a home there. I think it was on like Craven Street or something, but they were able to like trace it back, and
It was
these
Craven
bones
Street?
It was
these
Craven?
bones
Wow.
were there. Doesn't Craven like mean something bad too? Like
Wes Craven.
I don't know. Fucking is there a word? What is the definition of
It's
Craven?
kind of like evil, I think.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like it's almost like Stranger Than Fiction, right?
Wow.
But they were able to track these bones to around the time he lived there.
Really?
Yeah. So
It actually means cowardly.
Craven?
yes, that's what it means. Yes, I knew it meant something bad. But yeah, they think maybe he was like just killing people. Like maybe he was just like a fucking Dexter. You know what I mean? He was just killing people and just leaving their bones. Pretty easy to get away with crime back then.
Wow.
There weren't all these cameras
yeah,
and shit.
Jack the Ripper was
You know
just
what I
like
mean?
going off.
Yeah. There's
We still
another
have no
London.
idea who they are.
Yeah, and then he could have been. I think his like son-in-law was a doctor.
Yeah.
So there could have been like human experiments going on, which still isn't good. You know, you're still.
Were they able to ascertain the bones were
So I think
from live people, or were they already dead? Or?
I don't know, but I think was it like 15? Do we have the numbers, Omri? How many people
It
dead?
was 15 people, 6 children.
6
Whoa!
children and 10
Whoa.
adults.
Yes.
Yeah.
6
Well, 9,
children,
yeah.
10 adults. That's bad math.
9.
9
Yeah,
adults.
9 adults. It was only
16?
1,200.
I thought he
bones.
said 16 people. 10 and 6.
15.
Oh, 15.
15
I
people.
was like the Chaz show.
The
I thought it was 10 and 6.
the 15 people. Wow. But all right, but back in the day, because of religious reasons mostly, like they wouldn't let people experiment. Like so like even what are we doing?
Yeah, we're getting some noise.
Oh, sorry about that.
Even Da Vinci was like known for paying off like undertakers to not bring the body to the grave to bring it to him, so he had like fresh
So you could
bodies
have,
to work on and
do some experimentation.
yeah. I don't have
Could
any,
be that.
I don't have any problem with that.
Yeah, but we don't know. The mystery makes it fun.
What makes you think he's a serial killer?
I'm just saying, literal skeletons in your closet. He's got bones in his basement.
literal bones in his
There's
basement.
bones in his basement, bro. So I mean,
Yeah.
if I had a bunch of bones in my basement, you can think, oh, maybe Mickey's a fucking.
It's not a good
amateur.
look. It's not a good look.
It's not. Yeah, I'm not an amateur. Fucking, you know.
You got to do some explaining. Also, guys, if I'm correct on this, he's a
I'm
pretty
a
well.
doctor. I just didn't get the PhD.
He's a pretty well known Freemason, right?
I don't know much about Freemasons in general.
Do you think that's overblown, the Freemason stuff?
Said I don't know much about it. Are we talking like secret societies here?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't really know. I don't know. No, I've never met a Freemason. They've never been like, "Hey, what's up? I'm in the Freemasons, so this is how it goes down."
Mm-hmm.
You know, I don't really know too much about it.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could talk about it for 30 minutes straight.
I don't. I don't know enough about it. I know that I've seen them like at lounges and stuff, like hotels where they're having like the Freemasons conference, and it's just like it seems like a bunch of old dudes just hanging out wearing weird hats. But
Well, that must not be the cool Freemasons.
Yeah.
The cool Freemasons must be like the under. Like, isn't it like some underground shit like Illuminati?
totally, that's what it's supposed to be. It's supposed to be this like.
There's never any Illuminati meetings at like a hotel.
Yeah, the Illuminati's called the World Economic Forum now. Like I don't think they have to hide much. The Illuminati.
Yeah.
I think they're out there.
You hate them so much.
I hate them so much. I hate them so
The
much.
World Economic Forum.
Yeah, there's a guy running for I forget the guy's name. There's a guy running for prime minister in the UK, and they asked him on news. They were like, "What's more important, Westminster, which is Parliament, or Davos?" And he goes, "Davos, hands down. Davos actually does things." It's fucking unbelievable. So Parliament is who the people have elected to run their country, and Davos is where unelected world leaders get together to run the world. And this guy wants to be the prime minister of the UK, and he's telling this. He's not even hiding it. He's telling this reporter, "Oh, Davos is way more important."
Yeah.
Because that's where us rich elites get together to tell you poors what to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't like it, shove it. Become
Yeah.
a billionaire, you idiot.
Duh.
Yeah, I don't like him.
Yeah.
I don't like him.
Yeah, I get you, bro. I know you don't.
I don't like, but I do love Ben Franklin. I'm a
love Ben
Ben Franklin simp.
Yeah.
Brilliant dude. Poor Richard's almanac guy's brilliant.
Yeah.
I mean, and he ran experiments. I mean, he has so many things that have helped society from a practical standpoint. Things he invented, bifocals and all that stuff, to helping organize our government. He's the guy that championed the Great Compromise, the two houses, the Senate, and the bicameral
What's
Congress.
Davos again? I know you were saying that before.
Davos is where it's in Switzerland, and if I incorrect, please tell me, but it's in Switzerland, and that's where the World Economic Forum holds all of its annual meetings. Davos.
Okay.
That's where Build Back Better was born. That's where the climate crisis, is
At
amplified
first,
from.
I thought he said Bill Back Better. I was like, who's Bill?
Nothing is built, nothing is back, and nothing is better.
It is in Switzerland. Also, I think I have an answer to if the Freemasons are bullshit or not.
Yeah.
They are, because I accidentally just submitted to be one. I looked them up and I found the form they were looking, and I was trying to get through it to see if there were any good questions,
Yeah.
and I accidentally just
Joined?
submitted to become a Freemason
Well, I know Rick Ross. I mean, yeah, they'll probably take your money.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
For
I know Rick Ross is singing about it.
Huh?
Yeah.
Now, he's supposed to be full of
Freemason.
shit. He just stole somebody's identity. He was a prison guard, and he stole somebody's...
Well, there is a Freeway Ricky Ross was
Mm-hmm.
a L.A. big drug trafficker. I think he's hooked up with Noriega, big time, making $1 million a day
Really?
and shit. Yeah. He totally denounces that stuff now. He's on a bunch of podcasts. Yeah, you can look him up.
So
Freeway
Rick Ross...
kind of took. Yeah, Rick Ross. I think was I mean, can't deny that man's swag or skill. But yeah, I don't think he was maybe he was doing some street shit, but he wasn't this guy.
Wasn't he a prison guard, though?
Yeah,
He was.
yeah, but he could be both. But
That I don't respect.
you don't respect.
I don't respect that.
What?
Be one or be the other. I can respect the mobster who's a mobster. I can respect
So you
the
don't
cop
like
who's
a
a cop.
corrupt cop.
No.
No bueno to you.
Absolutely horrible.
Yeah.
And you know what?
get
I actually know a lot of cops that feel the exact same way. They actually have a weird, odd respect for criminals.
Yeah.
I mean, there's guys. We were hanging out with Chuck Zito and Sandy Blue Eyes. Sandy was a cop. Chuck was not a cop. Buddy.
Yeah.
There's this odd, almost
I like both. We got to get both those guys on the podcast.
yeah, for sure. For
Yeah.
sure, the stories. Hopefully at the same time.
Yeah, shit.
that would be
dope. That'd dope.
incredible.
Sandy Blue Eyes and Chuck Zito.
For
Yeah.
sure.
Yeah.
But I mean, it's almost like a Yankees Red Sox thing. It's like I look. It's your job to do crime, and it's my job to stop you. And
Yeah.
it's just like we know where we stand. The guys that hedge, bullshit.
Yeah.
They're trying to game it. No way. There's dishonor. You're being dishonorable. I know a guy that was in the DEA, and he had to arrest his own boss.
Yeah, it's just tough. I know kids who would smoke weed, and but their father's a cop, and I was like, all right, so if you pulled over a kid with some weed, you smoke weed, you
Yeah.
wouldn't arrest him. They're like, nah, if I was a cop, I'm sworn to uphold that.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? So it's a little funky.
It's weird getting older too when you
It's a
start
little paradoxical.
you know you're getting a little bit older. Where I used to see cops and I'd be like, what the fuck's that cop doing here? Now I see somebody drive past me too fast and left. I'm like, where the fuck are the cops? I'm like,
Yeah.
it's you see cops. I see cops now and I'm like, man, this is a child. How old is this guy? This is it's a whole different way of looking at it. You have friends that are police. I've got friends that are police. It's a different thing.
Sure. Yeah, no, I know a lot of great police officers. But I think also if you're driving and a cop comes behind you or near you and stuff, you're immediately
Yeah.
oh, let me hit the brake, slow down, I don't want to get in trouble.
Totally.
I think there should be a thing where you never feel and like bad cops are like the worst ones who have like that. They be power tripping.
Totally.
You know what I mean? Cops should all be like big brothers. Mm-hmm. You know what I mean? Like
Totally.
that's ideally that's the way like it should be. They should never be like a fucking bully. You know?
Totally.
But I think a lot of our like psyche towards cops is kind of like they're like these bullies. You know?
So to that point, one of the things I've heard is that from them specifically, so this is from their perspective, so it might be skewed, but they think the camera, the body cam, is the worst thing to happen to policing because they can't have that discretion to be like a big brother and be like, hey, what the fuck you doing? Because it's on them. It's being recorded. You're breaking the law, and I have it recorded. You're a kid. I can't just tell you to throw that joint down the fucking the sewer drain.
Why? Their
give you a
bosses will
talking
give them
to.
shit?
Yeah, God forbid something happens. That kid hops in a car.
Well, those bosses got to be.
That kid hops in a car, gets into an accident.
Now,
then they go back and they were like, hey, how come why wasn't that kid detained? You cost him his life, and now so there's this liability
really
is on them.
I never heard that before.
Yeah,
that's
dude,
really
think about drunk driving, right? You get pulled over and you got a buzz going on. You're not hurting anybody, and let's say you're over the legal limit barely, and the legal limit is so remarkably low. You had an opportunity maybe for that cop to be like, look, you've got a clean record. I'm not going to bang you for $10,000 here and take away your license for a fucking year. Here's the deal. Pull over the car, wait for somebody to come pick you up, or pull it over and take an Uber, park it, come back tomorrow. Here's a fucking warning. You owe me one. Nah, now you got to get bagged up. You got to get bagged up. Because, God forbid, something happens, it's on me now. It's all fucking here. It's all recorded. Yeah. So it's kind of that law of unintended consequences we constantly see with government. Constantly see with government. Solar panels, the World Economic Forum. We're going to go with solar panels. Solar panels are the best fucking thing in the world. We're going to do clean energy. Awesome. We're in. 3 years later, these solar panels are really bad for the environment. And it turns out that they're rusting and degrading.
Is that true?
Yeah.
Solar panels no good?
Their solar panels have
That
less
seems like a real
energy.
efficient way to harness that. You got it. The sun's in. It's there.
Yeah, but
you know
what do you do when it's cloudy and the sun changes its direction?
I don't know. I'm
Every
not a
night.
solar panel.
What am I? An arborist for solar panels?
I'm not the arbiter
Look,
of solar power.
It's not. I hate the energy debate where everything has to be done all at once. Like, yeah, we should move towards clean energy. There's no doubt about it. But at the same time, like, we got to stop acting like everything can just be switched on and off and changed. And there are things that we don't know. This whole idea of trust the science is immediately you fucking know. The idea of science is to constantly question it. We didn't know that these things would rust out so quickly, and it turns out that they don't biodegrade, and they're fucking horrible for the universe and the earth. And the way that we have to mine these materials is bad for the fucking earth. How would electric cars good for the environment? Hell yeah! Except we need to use slave labor to mine lithium to get the batteries to work. So
Yeah.
fucking. It's unintended consequences. Nobody would say that cops shouldn't be held accountable. Of course they should, right? But also, did we do more harm than good with those body cams? I don't know. I'm not a cop. I know the cops hate them, but they also hate accountability. I don't know. I don't have the answer.
Right.
Yeah,
man, it's tough. There's a lot of cameras. It's hard to be a serial killer nowadays with all the fucking cameras out
Yeah.
there. You know what I mean?
I don't
It's hard
think
to do any crime like the mob as we know,
Yeah.
like any of like that strong arm shit. Like that's
I
out
miss-
the window, man. You can't be.
I have a weird. We don't have any good serial killers anymore.
You miss them.
We just Jack the Ripper, Son of Sam.
Yeah.
It feels lazy. Our killers today are lazy, is what it feels like. There's no nuance. There's no thought that goes into
You're
it.
inspiring someone right now.
There's no.
You're gonna remember me, G.
There's no letters to the editor. There's no.
Yeah.
They're not putting any effort into their mayhem, and that saddens me. This generation is.
Is there like a
deserves
super
better.
super righteous serial killer, like someone who really like did it for good?
Donald
like-
Rumsfeld, George Bush. Nah, it's a political thing.
Yeah, no, I got you, but
A super righteous.
yeah, like is there someone who like
Was
did
killing
it
the
in
right
name
people?
Like was killing bad people.
He was a Knights Templar.
Yeah, like he was. Yeah, almost like a vigilante.
I am
You
Batman.
know what I mean? We're like this guy's like someone who like raped someone but got off on a technicality, and then so like that this dude hunts them, fucking takes them out. There got to be like a movie about that, but has there been a person like that?
I'm unaware.
I mean, there's Dexter. There's the show.
Well,
Right,
yeah, but he's talking about who's Dexter in real life. Is
there a
basically what
real
he's
one?
saying.
Right.
Is there,
Nothing come up immediately. There are sort of.
well, there's Cain Velasquez. You know.
Right. Glad Kane's free.
I don't. If what we know about that case is right, what the fuck is he even doing on bail? You know, I understand you can't go popping the 9 off in public. You know, God forbid
That's
you miss somebody.
but
I
yeah.
get that. But somebody,
If he had just like killed that dude, he'd still be in trouble. But I don't think he should be. That person deserves. That's exactly what that person deserves. They deserve to get. They deserve worse. He should get locked in a room with Kane, and Kane should be allowed to do whatever the fuck he wants.
nah.
They
Now
should throw him and Kane in here, and Kane just it's up to Kane now.
Yeah.
That guy made up his decision to decide to touch his kid. Yeah. Now it should be up to Kane.
Consequences.
Facts. Yeah. Facts.
That would be interesting. If you,
A bullet in the head
If you
would
asked,
be-
if
would
you
be
asked the father,
just.
if you asked the father, how would you like to proceed?
Yeah.
The state can. The
yeah.
state can take care of this, or you can take care of it. I think he deserves that choice.
Yeah.
You hurt my son. I'm going to do everything.
You decided what you're gonna do to my family.
Yeah.
So yeah, it would be. I think that would be. But like that bloodlust, they can't
No
sign off on that.
Yeah.
You can't sign off on that, man.
Yeah.
You know.
I wonder if there are people out there like in under policed areas, Detroit, Chicago, where somebody is out there doing the vigilante justice and we just don't know about it because the cops just aren't going there.
There's got to be some dude inspired by Dexter who's like a real life. Because I forgot about Dexter.
There has to
I
be
might
like
have mentioned it earlier.
Would you
but
consider
like,
Omar? Is Omar a good guy?
from The Wire?
Yeah.
Why? Because he's robbing drug dealers.
Yeah. And he's clipping gangbangers.
No, he's still an anti-hero. He's still You're gonna get us taken down.
Hey yo, Omar coming.
Yeah, nah, I'd have to. I gotta rewatch The Wire to
Hey,
really.
yo, listen here, bae.
But basically, I would
R.I.P..
say, yeah, he was a great actor. I
Great
loved him
actor.
in Boardwalk Empire.
He's good in Boardwalk Empire.
Chalky White.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, he was great.
Yeah.
In that. Yeah, man.
Now I didn't
That's
like
one of my
Boardwalk.
favorite.
I didn't like Boardwalk Empire as much. As
You didn't like Boardwalk Empire?
First season I thought was great, and then I thought it got progressively worse after that.
I thought that whole thing was fire through the end, but you know, I like that. I like that mafia history stuff, and also Jersey, bro. That was a Jersey Shore
For sure.
and I loved the Meyer Lansky character. I love the Lucky Luciano character. I love the way they mix. Obviously, the Buscemi as real life it was Enoch Johnson, who was like the
Nucky, right?
Yeah, he was in the show is Thompson, but in real life. And I think like his brother was actually like the sheriff down there. Like it's a cool story.
Yeah. He was semi legit.
Yeah.
And they would actually bring in the liquor through that the fairgrounds.
The port.
Yeah. They would bring it in through
Yeah.
the fairgrounds there. I think
Yeah,
there's like an elephant.
They have Joe Kennedy in it.
Yeah.
Oh, it reminds me. That reminds me. Give me your 3 favorite books.
3 favorite books.
3 favorite books. I got a couple.
Like what I got the most out of them, or what I've enjoyed the most.
Man, up to you, bro. Something that give me some shit that comes to mind.
Okay.
And I'll tell you why when I give mine. Why this reminded me of that.
Okay. I loved Angels and Demons by Dan Brown. I
Okay.
thought that was really good.
What do you like? What's so dope about that? If you can give a brief synopsis.
The way he intertwines. It's the same guy who did the Da Vinci Code.
Da Vinci, yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's the prequel to the Da Vinci Code.
Sequel
to the Da Vinci Code.
Okay.
And the idea is taking fact and fiction and interwoven.
And that's what reminded me to talk about this, because the way I was like how I mentioned the like Joseph Kennedy and like how I mentioned Meyer Lansky and Luciano. One of my favorite books is called American Tabloid, and it does that with JFK and Hoover and Howard Hughes.
That's the guy who did what's the movie
LA
I love?
Confidential?
LA Confidential.
Yeah, the book's 5 million times better, and you say that's one of your favorite movies.
I
LA
love that
Confidential.
movie, but I've never read the book.
If you read the book, it blows it out the water.
Really?
And it's kind of cliche to say, but books always blow the movies out of the fucking water.
Well, I mean, they have more time. They have
Sure.
more space
Yeah.
to develop the world. You think the Godfather books blow the movies out of the water? I mean, The Godfather's basically a perfect film.
The Godfather is one book, right? But it
Yeah.
has both in it. That's close. There's so much stuff that doesn't get touched. You know what I mean? So there's more to it in the book.
Yeah.
Um,
You told us Luca Brasi is a more prevalent part of the book.
yeah, and then they even made books like extra books, but not by Mario Puzo, who wrote The Godfather.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like 4 or 5 of them, and they have like all this like different backstory and like different stuff. Like so, Luca Brasi, like you know how he's like slow, and like the Don, like he kind of talks like this.
Yeah.
So in one of these prequels that they made, which this one's based, it's called The Family Corleone, based on a screenplay that was written that was going to be a prequel to The Godfather when Vito was coming into his real power.
Okay.
And they were going to have Leonardo DiCaprio play a young Sonny.
Okay.
And like
So
a late
it bridges
teen Sonny.
Godfather 2 and Godfather 1.
Yes.
Nice.
Yes.
Oh, I'd love that.
Yeah, it would
Yeah.
have been really cool.
Is Puzo right? Did Puzo write this?
Puzo wrote the screenplay, and
Oh.
the book is called Family Corleone. It's based on that screenplay, but A Family Corleone is not as good as the ones that happen after The Godfather, called The Godfather Returns and The Godfather's Revenge.
Also Puzo?
Neither Puzo.
Oh, okay.
But those are fucking fantastic. But my favorite books, what I started to say, the same author of L.A. Confidential, James Ellroy.
James Elroy.
My favorite book by him is American Tabloid. And then so he would do these like these series where, and he's very like, I think they call it like staccatos.
What's
where
the
it's like
genre of this? This is a very specific genre where they take real and they make it fiction.
Yeah, I don't know what that is. But he would mix in like real like history with these fake characters. In American Tabloid,
I
he
love
has like these like Peter Bondurant, who's like this big like French dude who's like he's like shakedown artist, but he's working with like the CIA and he's working with Hoover. Like he's all over the place.
It's one of those things that I love about Quentin Tarantino movies. You know, is that kind of like
He writes his own kind of history. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it's almost in his own world.
very interesting. Yeah, it's like a parallel universe almost. You know.
Yeah, and I'll talk about American Tabloid for a second. They also got this dude Kemper Boyd, who's like a slick kind of works for Hoover. He's like doing car thieves, but then he starts working for the Kennedys. He's like dating one of the Kennedys, like made up sisters. And then there's this other guy, Ward Littell, who's like he's like
Wait, it's a made-up sister of the Kennedys? Because the Kennedys were fucking rough on their women.
Well, here's the thing. It was.
They got that one girl they fucking lobotomized.
I know. He could have. It was based on a relationship that Joe P. Kennedy actually had with like a movie star, and the author calls this the illegitimate child between them, and then he gives her a whole backstory.
Bill Clinton.
Yeah, so you say Bill Clinton's a Kennedy?
That's the mythos. That's the rumor.
Who explain that? Where
Well,
what? Joe B.
it's-
Kennedy was down in Alabama.
There's a rumor that that Clinton's a Kennedy, and that's how he got into politics at such a young age, and he never knew his father, and the person they claimed was his father couldn't have been his father, and there's
How do you end up with Hillary?
I don't know, but that's always felt like more of a business arrangement.
It always
than
seemed
ever-
a little bit like that, huh?
Yeah, I tell you who else they had a business arrangement with was Ghislaine. You got to look at the connections between the Clintons and Epstein, and Ghislaine is insane. And it's only more and more and more. She was at their wedding. There were
No shit.
there were people that they were connected with through financiers that would be like,
Right.
yeah, if she wasn't invited, Bill would be mad. Those are like text messages about who's this Ghislaine Maxwell person? Well, you have to bring her there. If she's not there, Bill will be very angry. Like there's
Oh, that's funky.
yeah,
stuff.
and then the idea that he's like, I don't remember the guy. Bill when Epstein was finally arrested, and they were like, "Isn't this your friend?" He's like, "I don't know that guy." He flew with him on a private jet 39 times.
And then said he did
That we know about.
Oofa.
I tell you what, I fly in a private jet with you, I'm probably going to remember you.
Probably, right?
I'm probably going to remember you. But this guy, James Elroy, very interesting.
Yeah, he's great.
Did he do the Black Dahlia also?
He did the Black Dahlia.
But the Black Dahlia is a real thing.
So the Black Dahlia is a real murder that was never solved. I think I'm trying to remember.
Actress?
Yeah,
I don't remember what it was. Give me a
was,
synopsis.
I think she was like a girl from from Boston.
Working girl.
No, but I think she had a reputation for being slutty, and at least the newspapers really kind of went with that.
Okay.
Right?
Whether it was real or not.
Yeah, they really kind of
Seems
were
like James Ellroy.
almost like one of those things where it's like, well, what were you wearing?
Yeah.
You know,
Oh,
like,
yeah,
it's
yeah,
like she
yeah.
was kinda-
That skirt shouldn't have been so short. She's victim
Exactly.
blaming. James Ellroy seems to be the original guy who hates the media. Like he's like, the media is full of shit.
Yeah,
They
and
control
his
the
mother
narrative.
was murdered at a young age. I think he was like 10, and his mother was murdered
In real life.
and never solved.
Wow.
In real life. So that kind of gave him a, I guess a unique outlook.
Yeah.
So to speak. But so his novels are like all very like profane, very like, and he talks about like having met senators or like people in like politics and how they're the most profane people he's ever met and like spoken with.
Yeah.
And like how it, but also like how that kind of became okay around this. So around like this time.
I'm
and, like,
digging
the later,
this James Ellroy
bro,
guy.
he's great. I'm telling you,
digging him.
I'll give you what I got. But so that's one of mine.
Wasn't the
another-
Black Dahlia? Hold on, the Black Dahlia. That wasn't the guy who originally played Superman somehow involved in that? They thought he might have been the murderer.
I think there's a lot of theories on who killed the Black Dahlia, but I don't think anything is too. I think they just made like a documentary about it, saying like who this guy was, and there's certain people whose family believe he did this, and different shit like that. Yeah.
So it's kind of true crime. So he takes true crime, and then
True crime, true history. Yeah, a lot a crime though.
Yeah.
And
this is kind of a
he
little bit like
melds them
George
together.
R.R.
Well,
Martin does.
It's like, I would say, I don't know. Are you just talking about Game of Thrones?
Yeah, but everything he does, he takes history and he kind of repaints it.
What was it, the War of the Roses?
It was the war, but he took like the the War of the Rose, but he took like history and condensed it down into like, abridged basically. Like the Targaryens are Romans, and the fall of the doom of Valyria is the fall of Rome, and like that's then they came and the Rome conquered Britain, and that's them coming across. Like so, like he kind of takes like history, 1,000 years of history, and condenses it down.
Yeah.
And but there's something about like us learning history where we get into something like that, and it's like
I guess history in real life could provide like a framework and inspiration for these other things.
And it
that
grounds
they're
the fiction.
creating.
That's what's exciting about like reading something like that, like Angels and Demons. Like noetic science is a real thing. CERN is a real place, and these are.
Is there a name for that where they blend real and fiction?
Docufiction.
Really?
That's what I
Docufiction?
found.
I thought it would be
I thought
cooler.
it was something
I thought it
else.
was something different.
I'm also disappointed.
What does hard-boiled novel mean?
Noir. L.A.
I like that
Confidential is a
shit.
great movie though.
I like that noir. type
L.A.
of-
Confidential is
the
a damn
book's
good
way
movie.
better. Book's way better. The movie, like, it looks like they like, and I guess how you say on the time, like, it's so rushed. They combine shit for no reason. Like, there's just so much more like motivation.
Yeah.
And like, it's kind of like, yeah, it's such a cliche thing to say too. But there's another one of my favorites is I like. Author-wise, Mario Puzo, he wrote this book called The Sicilian. That's probably better than The Godfather.
Really?
Yes. Sicilian's probably better than The Godfather.
Why?
It's just a fucking great. You'd actually love it. It's great. That you should read that. I actually I have the book, like the hard copy, and I listen to a lot of them, but this one I have the hard copy of.
I don't really read fiction. I watch fiction and I read nonfiction. I read so much news and I read so much history that's like when I'm reading, I'm normally consuming nonfiction.
Right.
But when I'm watching almost exclusively
Exclusively fiction.
Yeah. Like I love movies. I love them. I used to love series like The Wire, Sopranos. Now everything became a series. And I can't.
It's a better way to do it. A movie in 2 hours is so limiting.
Yeah.
It's so limiting. While a series, you could like take the Sopranos movie they just did. If that was a series, that would have got so much better reviews.
I agree.
And people
They
fuck
tried
up.
to stuff a whole series into.
People fuck up and are disappointed because it's not a Tony origin story.
Yes.
But it's
Many
called
Saints,
The Many
yeah.
Saints of Newark.
Yeah.
Many Saints, Moltisanti.
Yep.
The Moltisantis of Newark. That's
Sure.
Chris Moltisanti and his dad, Dickie Moltisanti.
Yeah. It was, I think it was a good movie, but they did stuff too much into it. It's a hard thing because I think what's happened with the series is nobody does a limited. BBC does it right, where they say we're doing 4 episodes and that's it, and we're doing 2 seasons.
What's an example
and
of a
that's it.
BBC series? That
Sherlock, fantastic.
Okay.
Sherlock is fantastic. There's a few of them that they do that are incredibly good. Because I think what we do, and this could be an issue with capitalism, folks. Everybody loves hating on capitalism. You have a series, and when you go to pitch a series, I've pitched a couple shows, and what they want is they want the Bible of what the series is, and they want characters that they can sell to their stars, but they also want to know how it begins, how it ends, and you got to have 2 seasons pretty much written out.
Right.
If the 2 seasons go well, and you're making a ton of money, and if you're not D&D and want Game of Thrones just to end so you can go do Star Wars, they start stretching it out.
Right.
And that 3rd season, 4th season, 5th season, 6th season, they're just ringing the register because they already have the last season. And they're just waiting for, when they've milked every fucking ounce that they can out of that thing. To then, this is The Walking Dead. This is a whole bunch, characters start doing dumb things, actors that get bigger because they end up on a role in a movie, and then all of a sudden these people write this character into a bigger role that he never should be in. And the series kind of eats itself. I mean, there's so many series that you see the first two seasons are unbelievable, and then it gets progressively worse.
Game of Thrones.
Yeah.
At the end, they had to wrap that up quick. And
Unbelievable.
That was fucking garbage.
And that's the greatest television show of all time, hands down, through 6 seasons.
Yeah.
And then what they did in season 7 and 8 is almost a crime against humanity.
For real. So bad.
So I've reverted back to movies. I like a nice, tight 2-hour story. I don't want to have to watch 20 hours of anything to get my closure on the story. I want to sit.
Right. I get that. That makes sense.
Like a barbarian, I want to sit under a fir with my lady and listen to the elder tell the story, and that's what I want. And I want to be able to talk to my buddy. Do you think 10,000 years before memes and movie quotes, do you think guys out on the hunt the next day when they're walking around hunting for a woolly mammoth were repeating funny lines the elder said around the fire last night?
Huh.
Do you think that guys we're walking around, we got our spears out ready to take down a boar, and we're like, milk was a bad choice.
I think the ancient Greeks were reminiscing about. You remember what Socrates said yesterday?
Yeah.
That was fucking good.
Yeah,
fire.
It was funny.
Yeah.
Remember what he said? The emperor's got no clothes. Hey, over here's got no clothes. Get a load of this guy. Yeah, I don't know. You think there was your mama jokes back in the? Your mama jokes have gone away. This new generation's got no your mama jokes. It's gone.
Yeah.
If you tried to say your mama's so fat, whoa, body shaming.
Yeah.
Really.
That's below you.
Let's go here.
Come on.
Yeah. You know what else has gone away completely? The bird, gone. Completely gone.
I noticed you're a thumb out bird guy.
I'm a thumb out bird guy.
I'm a thumb in.
Wow.
I tuck it like.
That's a
Stone Cold
super.
Steve
That's a
Austin
super
right
bird
here.
because that puts a
Yeah.
lot of stress on the forehand.
Well, I don't want.
That means
I don't want
business.
you to get it twisted
That
and
means
think I'm
business.
giving you a thumb up.
Yeah.
No, thumb down, motherfucker.
Thumm down.
Thumb down.
That's
middle
right. Hey,
fingers
right
up.
here.
Stone Cold Steve Austin
if you like
style.
this one, we got another
Yeah,
one.
I got 2 of them for
Yeah.
you. Yeah.
This is one of those things. We communicate more than ever now. We're communicating nonstop. We're on our phones. We're tweeting people from all across the world, but we're worse at it. We're worse at communicating. We could tell you to go fuck yourself growing up with our hands in 4 different ways. When was the last time you saw somebody give one of these? Hey, how about this? Right? What was another one? How about that guy? What do you think about that? When was the last time you saw somebody fucking, hey, right here? Give a little, hey, I got you simp right here.
Yeah. Yeah, bro.
Sometimes the old ways are the best ways, right? You don't need to go get a
Sure.
teacher and institutionalize all your fucking, this guy said this about me. Go on Twitter, try to get somebody canceled. How about you just give yourself a little squeeze and say, hey, I got you body
Fuck
shaming
off.
right here.
Yeah.
You know? I don't know, it bothers me. Anyway.
I feel you. All right. Anyway, give me your second book. So I gave American Tabloid and The Sicilian.
The American Tabloid. Again, I don't do a lot of fiction, man. So I love The Great Shark Hunt by Hunter S. Thompson. I know that's not one of your favorites.
I never read it.
Yeah,
I was disappointed in Fear and Loathing
Really?
by Hunter S. Thompson. Yeah.
Why?
Just didn't find it that fucking good.
I
I didn't like. Maybe Hunter S. Thompson across the board because I didn't like his. He had like a biker one too. I can't remember what it's called, but if you type in Hunter S. Thompson biker book, like it'll come
What the
up.
hell,
There's
where
I
he
think it was the
traveled
Hells.
with-
It might have
would
been called
travel
Hells
with the Hells
Angels.
Angels,
Yeah,
travel with the
I
Hells
didn't dig
Angels.
that. I thought I would dig that one for sure, but I didn't dig that one so much either.
There was a book by Eric Hoffer. I'm trying to remember the name of the book that was very transformative in my early years, where he's traveling around. He's basically a vagabond going from place to place, and he's describing his existence and coming up with this kind of new American philosophy, almost like this stoicism that he didn't really realize was stoicism at the time. He's just
Right.
like, he had this interesting thing about hunger and how poor he was. And, I was so hungry. And then I saw these birds in this window, and they were flying around, and they were chirping at each other, and they were singing songs. And it made me so happy. And then he realized I wasn't hungry when I was watching the birds. So hunger is just this idea in my mind, and I can conquer it. And
I like that.
So he has Eric Hoffer is very, very interesting, and he has this idea that about how group dynamics are the root of all evil that I really love.
Huh.
Yeah, he's very against coalitions. He's like, there's no difference between a Nazi and
So
a
what was the name of
communist.
this book?
I don't remember. I remember him. I don't remember the name of the
You
book.
Google that, please, Omri.
I got like 9 of his books.
Vagabond book.
Wasn't Vagabond.
No, I'm just saying, giving him some keywords to figure this shit out.
Yeah.
So I like getting recommendations from like cool people, like to turn me on to like good shit. You know what I
Aaron
mean?
Rodgers on the Pat McAfee show. Shout out Pat McAfee, Patty Mac. Who is the only other standing podcaster I'm aware of. You guys might have to battle it out. Aaron Rodgers has a book club, which I want to kind of get into the books that he suggests. It's very interesting.
All right.
And maybe we got to get a Mickey Gall book club going. What do you think? Do the
Yeah, I
Mickey
can
Gall
listen to
suggestions?
books. Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Was it Thoughts on the Nature of Mass Movement?
It's not.
Not that one?
Nope. I love The Road by Jack Kerouac. I thought that was fantastic, especially if you read it in his beatnik, vernacular. When I was younger, I loved The Hatchet and The Chocolate Wars. Those were very interesting, books about overcoming hardships as a child. Lord of the Flies, 1984. All
Lord
the
of the
other
Flies is a good
all
one.
the other simp.
There's a show that's like Lord of the Flies, kind of.
There's a bunch of them.
It's called. Well, there's a good one, and it's. I know, like we said, I'm big time feminist, right?
Big feminist.
But I don't always love my like fiction that I consume to have like female protagonists, like or be like basically every character.
I don't
Like I don't like chick flicks.
I don't like
even though I'm
female-
such a feminist.
I don't like female characters unless I fornicate with them.
Yeah, right. Tyson. But it's called Yellow Jackets. It's about like a girls' soccer team.
I've heard of this.
It's fucking good.
Yeah,
it's good.
I've heard of
So I'm
it.
saying if it's if I like it that much
Yeah.
that it is really good. It's like a high school soccer team. They crash on this island. Some of them get back, some of them don't. It flashes forward to today where
Yeah.
they're going to their reunion, and some of them are still friends, but it's like there's secrets that happen there, and they're uncovering it. The second season starts next month.
Interesting.
It's on Prime.
I like Ray Bradbury was great. Fahrenheit 451.
Okay. I didn't like that book so much. That was boring.
Yeah, it more speaks to my worldview, I suppose. It's more maybe confirmation bias, Brave New World, and the book that changed my life probably more than anything else is the Gulag Archipelago. But again, we're not talking about like easy summer reading here, guys. Like,
Right.
I feel like your books are a little bit cooler than my books, bud.
My books are way cooler than your books, bro. My
feel
books are
like-
way fucking cooler.
Yeah.
Not even close.
Yeah, it's not even close.
But yo, I love James Elroy and Mario Puzo.
Sure.
You're gonna be super entertained. Almost any of their shit. Mario Puzo's got another one called like Omerta. He's got this one called The Last Dawn, which is really good. They made into a movie that was pretty
Yeah.
trashy, but it's all right. But yeah, The Sicilian is great. I like even the knockoffs of The Godfather.
Yep.
All those are awesome.
I had a girl try to get me into like John Grisham books and stuff like that. She's like,
I don't
"It's
know.
incredible." Like the Pelican Brief and all these like lawyer
Okay.
books. Like I think all of his books have pretty much been turned into
Movies.
movies. The Rainmaker, underrated film with your boy Mickey Rourke, really good film. Who's the guy that did all the Jack Ryan books? I never read his books, but I love the Jack Ryan movies. So
I don't know.
yeah, Jack Ryan,
All right,
American hero.
what's your 3 favorite movies, G?
3 favorite movies?
Yeah, hit us, bro.
Not the best movies of all time, but the ones I love the most.
If you can keep it quick, I'll take both.
If I can keep it quick, motherfucker.
He's a long-winded motherfucker over here.
What the fuck is going on over here? If I could keep it quick. Shit.
He's failing.
Yeah, you kind of put me on the spot here.
All right, ready. 3 favorite movies, go.
Apocalypse Now, Redux.
All right,
but that's douchey and fucking cinematic and all that other shit. And then I fucking love Forgetting Sarah Marshall. I think that's pretty much the perfect comedy.
Wow, interesting.
It
Okay.
barely beats out Caddyshack and Old School for me to be like the perfect comedy.
Okay.
And I would go.
I throw The Hangover in there too.
Okay.
As a comedy blockbuster, also like Superbad was a.
I'm not as high on Superbad.
Nah.
Nah.
All right.
No,
I loved that
Superbad-
shit when it came out, but I was
Yeah.
like a freshman in high school.
Yeah, I think I don't know if Superbad holds up as your age. I think it's
Okay.
like pretty cool when you're younger.
Yeah, it makes sense.
Yeah.
And because if at least for me, it kind of fit that time where like you know what I mean, you're like going
Yeah.
to parties.
Yep.
You know, I
Super-
couldn't really relate to being like a dorky, nerdy kid, but like it's all right. I like I'm
Fake ID.
sympathetic.
Fake ID.
Fake ID.
Yeah. Did you ever use a fake ID?
Yeah. Yo, I got the funniest fake ID story ever. LJ, you know my boy LJ.
Of course.
Tall, handsome, 6'3" motherfucker.
Yep.
He used a fake ID of his cousin for years. His cousin has Down syndrome.
No.
I promise you, we got in everywhere. Motherfuckers were like, until it was Ali's bachelor party, we go to a strip club. Bouncer looks at it, looks at him, looks at him, and goes, "That's not you." Oh, by the way, 5'3". His cousin has a height on it.
Stop it.
He used it everywhere.
Stop it.
Bro, if I called someone, they would validate it. You know I don't bullshit. That's straight up, bro.
Wow.
I don't lie.
Hey, listen, I would never give kids bad advice about how to become ungovernable. But if you got a fake ID,
LJ goes like this. They go, he's like, "This isn't you." He's like, "Oh, it isn't." And they're like, "Nah." And he's like, "Okay."
that's
He's
the
like,
response. And they gave the
That's
ID
LJ.
back. Oh, it's
Fuck
not.
yeah. He's like, "Oh, it
Shit.
isn't."
Oh my god. Oh, for real? Oh,
Yeah,
babe.
it's
What
so
about this
funny,
one,
bro?
Yeah.
So funny. So funny.
Dude, it's real easy, guys. Bouncers don't get paid that much money. If you show up with confidence and a folded $20 bill behind the ID, and you hand the
Yeah, good
ID
for you.
over.
I like this,
Okay.
yeah.
Now you should never do this. This is you should not do this. I would never be somebody to tell you to get around the rules, get around authority. I would never tell you to become
No.
ungovernable. That's not me.
No?
Follow the rules, people. The people in charge care about you, and these rules exist for a reason.
Fucking rule follower.
So
over
follow
here.
the rules and shut up and be obedient. But you should definitely not be like the people that do this
For just a 20 and
because they get into the bar,
right.
and all you gotta do is these people, they hand the ID with a folded 20 behind it, and they look confident, and they're real quiet on the fucking line. They don't draw attention to themselves.
Yeah. No,
You know?
don't be a dick. Don't be douchey.
Yeah.
Last movie.
Last movie, Predator.
Okay.
Fuck, I love Predator.
Okay.
It's not a great movie, but fuck, I love it.
Yeah.
I love that
Never
movie.
seen it.
I love Die Hard too. Fuck, I love Die Hard.
Never seen it. I've been getting shit for never seeing Top Gun.
Top Gun?
Yeah, I'm gonna have to see it.
Yeah, I mean it's quintessential '80s Americana. What drives me out of my mind about.
And I
Top
was
Gun.
like, my friend was busting my balls about it. And I was like, bro, I was born in the '90s.
yeah,
And he was like,
because
you saw The Godfather.
because you look
I
like you
was
could
in
have been the
70s.
lead. You look like you could have been in Top Gun. Is
Top
that the
Gun?
idea? Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Coulda-
Well, thanks.
yeah. Could have been in Stomp the Yard too.
Stomp the Yard.
Stomp the Yard.
That's a breakdancing movie. Or
Yeah,
something?
yeah, yeah. What's that horrible fighting movie?
If you saw my last fight, I tried a breakdancing move in the cage.
I
I went to go spin on my face.
I thought it was the jelly leg. I thought that was the you out there doing the Dougie,
Nah, none of
the
that.
short left.
So I go with it's tough. I love the Godfather movies. I like the mafia movies, bro. Goodfellas.
The Bronx Tale is like a perfect
Bronx
movie. I know
Tale
we're
is like a
constantly
damn- I
we're
know,
constantly
we're big
kissing
up in
Chaz's
Chaz.
ass, man. But I mean, fuck, the Bronx Tale is a unbelievable movie. It's like a
100%.
perfect movie, man.
Pulp Fiction. I like Tarantino too.
Yeah.
I guess like I kind of have like a couple of guys that I like. Like I like Scorsese
You like
and Tarantino.
Scorsese.
They're like almost don't misses.
Yep.
You know, I got, like I said, Puzo and James Elroy. Like, I got a couple authors I like. Now hit me with this, G. 3 favorite foods. And this isn't no desert island shit where you have to eat this every day. I'm just saying, are you getting a little hungry, big fella?
A little bit.
You getting a little hungry?
A little bit.
If you could have just anything, I could just get it, slide it right across you now. What is it? 1, 2, and 3. It doesn't have to be in order.
Well, number 1's easy. It's the easiest one in the world.
Tell me.
Chicken parm.
Chicken parm.
Chicken parmesan.
Chicken parmesan.
Now, also, are we talking like any food here? Are we talking like anything? Or do you have to be able to... So I can like, it's my mom's food and stuff?
Fuck yeah.
Okay.
Are you kidding?
Yeah. Mama hooks up this thing where it's like chicken marsala and chicken parmesan had a baby. It's a fried chicken cutlet with like a mushroom gravy, a brown mushroom gravy, and then that's the mozzarella on top. That is just over egg noodles. My God Almighty.
Sounds delicious.
It's unreal. And she also does this kind of half franchise. It's like almost chicken scampi. She does like a garlic. She does like a garlic white wine and then puts a bunch of lemon in it. It's like a chicken scampi. It's through this roof too. My mom. I don't know if you guys can tell. My mom can cook. cook. So my mom gets her own category. And then oddly enough, her potato salad. It's like fucking crack. Her potato salad is unreal.
Is that number 3?
Why, this
are we
why
going potato salad number 3? No. What's number 3?
A good steakhouse steak.
Good
It's hard
steak,
to beat.
huh?
Good steak at a
What do you go,
steakhouse, hard to
ribeye?
beat. No.
No?
I don't go ribeye. I normally
You
go
filet mignon?
at Chaz's restaurant. The Chateaubriand was incredible.
He's a Chaz simp
I'm a
over
Chaz
here.
simp. You know, if I got to simp for somebody, fuck, dude's a G.
Yeah,
Probably at a place called St. Elmo's in Indianapolis. I had the best steak of my life.
Okay.
Best steak of my life.
And what
Place
type
called-
of steak?
This was a porterhouse.
Okay.
Porterhouse has the, if I understand, it has the sirloin. It's a T-bone, and then it has the sirloin, and then the T-bone steak is the New York strip, the sirloin, and the
T-bone steak, cheese eggs, and what you
That's right. Yeah, I had a porterhouse. And it was terrific. That's what I'd go with. But it's hard.
I usually go ribeyes. I
You gotta have potatoes au gratin. Gotta have the potatoes
All
au
right,
gratin.
and that's I'm happy you included sides and stuff
Yeah.
because that goes along with it.
Yes,
You know.
for sure.
All right, so you got some potatoes.
You need
au
some
gratin with it?
accoutrements.
Yeah. So like my 3, I'm gonna go. I gotta, you know, I'm a good son. I gotta go with my mom's fucking meatballs and chicken cutlets. Unbelievable. She made them together when I was home.
Now, were you
for
a
this past
sauce
little bit.
family or a gravy family?
Gravy.
You called it gravy.
Italian, bro.
Sunday
yeah.
gravy.
But like we're American, and where it's, you know, we know it's sauce, but you call it gravy. We know, and obviously there's gravy. Like gravy, typically is people think Thanksgiving,
Yeah.
but sometimes they just call the tomato sauce that they make gravy. 'Cause
Yep.
There's a lot goes into it.
Did you call it pasta or macaroni?
I think pasta more.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, not well. A little bit of both. Depending. Yeah. I remember as a kid, I used to call it Ronies.
Ronies.
And I was like, I guess because I couldn't say it.
Spaghetti.
But and I remember I was at my friend's house and I was like, I must have been like 5 or something. I was like, oh, we're having Ronies. He was like, what the fuck are Ronies? I was like, I don't know that. Yeah, I was like embarrassed.
Need some Ronies and cheese.
Yeah,
Some
like
macarons.
Ronies sick. He's like, the fuck are Ronies?
If you
Like,
had
you're
to,
6, I'm 5. Why are you cursing?
if you had to cook something, could you cook something for yourself that would be good?
I'm not a great cook, but yeah, I can make some happen. But I'm not gonna be in there sprinkling and measuring shit out. I don't like that. No, I absolutely not to that.
Oh.
I could like
You
make
eat cat food
I can
out
make
the
some
can.
I can
I've
make
seen
some
you eat
dope
cat
ass
food
eggs.
out the can.
Don't call fucking tuna fish cat
I've
food,
seen
bro.
you eat cat food out
You
the
have an
can.
aversion to fucking tuna fish and a lot of healthy foods like the liver I be
Oh.
eating and stuff.
Liver and cabbage. Who does this? Oh my god.
Healthy, bro.
Oof,
Healthy. That's how you saw me in fight camp, bro. That's how it's
Oof.
gotta be. That's how it's gotta be.
Yikes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
If you want to fight on TV, these are the sacrifices you got to make sometimes.
After you fought on TV, were you craving any food like after?
So these
after
that I'm telling you now are like kind of like that. You get crazy cravings during fight camp.
I think I
too.
saw you eat pad thai every night for 2 weeks.
Yeah, I was eating a lot of I was eating a lot of that. Yo, that's another thing. Fucking, I got into Indian food recently. And I always thought I was like, Indian food's probably gross.
Yeah.
Like I remember I was with Matt Brown in Abu Dhabi, and he was like, "Let's go to this Indian place." And I was like, "No, ew,
Yeah.
gross." And he was like, "Bro, like Indian's dope." And I was like, "All right, I'll try. I don't think so. I don't think I'm gonna like it." And he was like, You got to get butter chicken.
Oh, butter chicken.
That was my introduction.
Solid.
It's delicious. Delicious.
Solid.
I like a lot of sauce. Like, I don't like dry food.
Solid.
It's got. That's what I like about Indian food. It's got I get goat curry. Goat's it's like lamb.
Too gamey.
Yeah, I like gamey though. Like even on my second thing, I'm gonna go like a cheeseburger, but I would rather have a bison patty in there.
Why?
Like a bison burger.
Really? Is
Yeah,
it
it's
better?
like a little leaner, and I like the way it tastes. Yeah.
Huh. Better than all beef. Better than Angus.
Better for you for sure.
Nothing I've ever
But
had in my
it's
life,
tasty too.
by the way, is more overrated than Wagyu. Nothing in my
Yeah.
life I've ever had is more overrated than Wagyu. Nothing.
Kobe's good though.
Kobe's pretty good.
Kobe.
Pretty good.
But
I will say this about
and
Indian
you gotta
food.
get. I want sweet potato fries on the side. I like sweet potato fries better than French fries.
I'll tell you about Indian food. It is delicious. It is delicious. But
So
you know how they
good.
say some things are an acquired taste?
But it's like you get
Indian
you get
food's an acquired smell.
Well, not some of it smells fucking awesome.
It does not. It does. You got to be honest. I'm not
Some
talking
of
shit.
it doesn't.
All of it smells so bad. When that delivery comes, it is horrific.
So you better not be talking about the people.
No, I'm talking about the food.
All right, just making sure.
But I mean, you are what you eat. So
That's kind of one of the things that I think turns people off a bit. It like intimidates people.
It's
either
intimidating.
the spice or the smells and
yes,
stuff. You know what I mean?
It's
But-
not an acquired taste. It's delicious, but it is an acquired smell, boy.
Yeah, that goat curry down in Miami Spice Guru, shit is fire. Pompano Beach, shout out. Yeah,
Shout out free shit.
Yeah, that's just dope.
Shout out free
they
goat.
don't, yeah, I'll take all the goat. I get that all the time. 'Cause you get like the white rice with it, which is like probably the best carbohydrate
Saffron,
for you.
saffron.
Saffron?
They
What is
throw
that? The
some
spice?
saffron in there. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
It's delicious.
And then so that was my final. That was.
No,
was
you
three.
got
That was three. I get my mom's.
the burger is the
meatballs.
third
Yeah, it's like a burger with some sweet potato fries on the side. Yeah.
over a steak with potatoes au gratin. You went burger and fries.
Yeah. Bro, if you go to like a fancy
Mickey
steakhouse,
Gall, man of the people.
you can go to a fancy ass steakhouse, and the burger, I would say almost 9 times out of 10 is better than the fucking meat.
You know
My
what?
dad would go to this place and he would always get the burger, and I would like be getting like a steak or something.
Yeah.
And then every time I'd like get a bite of his burger, I'd be like, "Fuck, I fucked up. I should have got that."
This is actually a life tip that old Big G taught me when I was in pharma sales. My dad had worked in, sales in New York for a long time, and he's like, I was like, how do I know what a good steakhouse is? He was like, fuck Sagat's, because back in the day you didn't have Yelp, you had the Zagat rating, and he's like, fuck that. Go to the steakhouse you're taking the doctors to for lunch and order the burger. If they fuck up a burger, they're gonna fuck up a steak. So he was like, go do some intel. He said, if it's a good
There you
burger, you're gonna have a good steak. If it's a bad burger, if they fuck up a burger, they're gonna fuck up a steak.
Nice.
I was like, that's what's up. That's pretty solid right
Yeah.
there. That's some solid fucking intel right there, big
And
man.
people, I hope maybe we could clip this and I'll throw it on my Instagram. I want people telling me their 3 favorite foods.
All right.
You know what I mean? I like hearing about that shit.
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Specific places that we should eat.
Yeah,
Specific
or no,
places.
it doesn't. Yeah, that's cool too.
I want
I
that.
just, you know what I mean? I don't know why. I find it interesting.
Oh, dude, but I love a chicken parm. I just feel like it's the perfect food.
I gotta say,
Do you think there's a universal
think-
food that if you put it down in front of everybody, they would actually like it? Does anybody not like chicken parm?
yes,
Who?
bro. My boy,
Don't tell me a
C-Rice,
vegan.
my boy
a
C Rice.
Vegans don't like them. They don't like themselves.
Some people
They're
are
out.
crazy picky. My boy C Rice eats like 4 things. That's it.
It's fried chicken. It's tomato sauce and it's fucking cheese. I mean, if it's
C Rice don't like cheese, bro.
what
Yeah, you heard me.
fresh mutts?
He don't even. Yeah,
The
no, he
Parmesan?
doesn't like ice cream. He does like people have things they don't like. It's so there's I think there's no universal food that
Calories
everyone.
thrown out the window. We're talking taste here. You're telling me he doesn't like chicken parmesan?
Yes, bro.
All right,
Some
you
of
need
my best
better
friends.
You need better friends. You need better friends. You're making.
You can't.
You've made a mistaken judgment by associating yourself with the psychopath.
Yeah, he's very picky.
There's
he's a very
bones.
picky man.
There's bones
People are like
of
this.
children. There's six children bones in his basement. I'd guarantee you. Right now. At least 9 adults.
He actually has a lot of my belongings in his basement. Shout out C Rice. That's my brother. Even though he only eats about 4 things.
Burger. Everybody loves burgers.
So listen to this. He'll get a burger, nothing on it, well done.
Oh my
That's
god!
it. He's a
Come
fucking weirdo
on,
with it, bro. He's a weirdo.
He's a psychopath. You're hanging out with a lunatic.
Easy.
He's a lunatic.
Easy.
Come on.
Maybe.
He orders fish and eats the eyeballs. He only orders fish and still has the head on it.
Fish. I don't think he would touch fish.
He doesn't touch
I'm
fish.
telling you, it's like 4 or 5 things.
What do you think is universal? Like you didn't grow up when we grew up.
I've
is there
never
chicken?
had a chicken parm.
There's no chicken parm in Tel Aviv.
Never had one?
Never had one.
Hey, let me say this. Veal parm might be better than chicken parm. And I would say typically it is. Veal parm's fucking good. I feel bad for their little
Veal parm is
cow.
good, but it's too inconsistent.
Okay.
You got a better chance
it's
of getting
done
a
right.
good if it's done right.
You know?
If it's done right. And I also like. I think the salt goes better with salt. Veal piccata and veal marsala I think is better than veal parm.
Yeah?
Salt with salt. Yeah.
Okay.
Salt with salt. The citrus is good. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I like that stuff. I mean, it's so good. I mean, but breakfast food is always good. Food's. I mean, food's good. I like food. I
Yeah.
enjoy food. Food's tasty.
No shit.
You know, I like food. I'm allergic to it though.
Yeah.
The calories make me swell.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that happens, bud.
Yeah.
What about fuck, what was I gonna ask you? Fuck, I'm drawing a blank now. I just had something.
I don't know what your 3 favorite movies are.
That was what I was gonna ask. I was gonna ask what the 3 best ones are. And I started drawing a blank. I knew we had to get back to something.
Yeah, but what's your 3 favorite? You didn't give me your 3 favorite.
I think I did. I said I think I went with
You went with
Fiction.
Tarantino.
Pulp Fiction.
Yeah, you gave me 2 directors. You gave me Pulp
Yeah,
Fiction.
I said Pulp Fiction. I think I said Godfather and Goodfellas. But like I love Casino. I remember I loved The Dark Knight when it came out too. And
That's
I'm not I you know me, I don't fuck with really Superman
That's
shit.
phenomenal,
I don't like
yeah.
Superman shit, but I like that grittier, more noir style. Like
Yeah.
you know, like Heath Ledger as the Joker. That's one of the most like compelling characters I've ever
Yep.
seen. No Country for Old Men, great book and great movie.
Yeah.
That's an example.
Oh,
And The Godfather,
How
great
good
book,
was
great
Javier
movie.
Bardem in that?
So
fucking
good.
movie?
One of the
Oh,
best villains ever.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Was it Chigurh?
Chigurh?
Antoine Chigurh.
Antoine Chigurh.
Is he
Yeah.
different in the book?
Pretty similar.
Pretty similar.
Pretty similar.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's like a little more stuff to
Was
it.
that Cormac McCarthy?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, it was him. He's good too.
Yeah.
He's good.
He's got a little Hemingway in him
He's-
where it's very brevity and not a big adjective adverb guy.
Yeah.
Get to it. Get to the point.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think when you're talking about best movies, I think it's very genre dependent. Like, you look at something like Into the Spider-Verse, you're never going to be like, that's one of the best movies ever. That's one of the best superhero and animated films you can ever make. I mean, that is
Yeah.
an absolute masterpiece. Into the Spider-Verse, you want to talk about A plot,
I never
B
saw
plot. First act, second act. I mean, structurally perfect, visually beautiful. The score amplifies the message.
Speaking of A plot, B plot, that reminded me. Know which movie I loved? Lock, Stock, and Two Smoking Barrels.
Yeah,
Guy Ritchie.
love it.
I like a lot of Guy Ritchie movies
I like
too.
Snatch,
like Snatch
better. I like Snatch better. Yeah.
Yeah.
Lock, Stock is great. There's
I
a
love Lock,
comedian.
Stock.
I forget this guy's name. There's a comedian that does TikToks of every Guy Ritchie ever, Angel or something. He nails it. He
I gotta check
fucking
that out.
nails
I'm not
it.
on TikTok, but
He nails it.
I saw how about that dude Lenny, the guy who's in that movie, like the governor.
Governor?
Yeah, he plays a role and he talks like this, and he doesn't have a huge role. And actually, he has a good one, but he was like a real life like badass. Like he was like a boxer. I think he was a bare knuckle boxer.
You're not talking about Gorgeous George, are you?
No. You're
Oh,
thinking of
okay.
Snatch. Look up Lenny the Governor real quick, Omri, and let's pull that up real quick. This dude's badass.
Do you know the definition of nemesis?
This dude's like a that's great too. This dude's like a real life like character.
All
And
right.
but they put him. He's in Lock, Stock. He's a big brooding guy with the bald head.
Yeah,
This
I
dude
know what you're talking about.
I forget. We got it.
Yep.
Yep, this guy.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Let's see some more. But like, this dude's a fucking animal. He's a wild motherfucker.
Really?
Yeah.
Vinny
He's got
Jones.
some cool-
Vinny
they-
Jones
they-
was a soccer player.
Right. Yeah.
I mean, who would have guessed that? Out
Yeah.
there, apparently he was like the Dennis Rodman of the Premier League too. He was out there grabbing
and
by of junk and
I
shit.
love the way like Snatch and Lock, Stock like come together. Like there's like 6 different like groups of characters that all conjoin
Yeah.
somewhere.
Yep.
You know what I mean? And like I like that shit.
Yeah.
That's really cool. That's like A plot, B plot, C plot.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's Tarantino. That's that again. What the hell's the name of that? It comes from comic books. There's a term for that. Something with a C. My mind's not working great. All right, now I need more coffee.
Do you ever take a nootropic like
No.
Alpha Brain, or I took this one from Honest Supplements called Neuro. I'm gonna call it like Neuro Plus. I believe it was called. Shit was good.
Does it help?
Yeah,
You-
it
you-
helps. Yeah, Alpha Brain was great too. Like you could like feel it when you take it. Too.
Really?
It's
Do
like
you feel like
you
you're
kind
on
of
it?
focus in like yeah, you can feel it. You get a little sharper. Like the words you can come. You know, when you're like, what the fuck is I gonna say, or what's that word's escaping me. It helps that like kind of bridge that gap.
Really?
Yeah, I like nootropics. Yeah.
Wow, that'd
Honest
be
supplements, Neuro Plus.
It's like a performance-enhancing drug for a comic.
For real, it really is.
Yeah. Get on stage and you're just on it, just letting it ride.
Yeah. That was a little pun you made there. On it, Alpha Brain.
Hey, on it, Alpha Brain.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, the idea of what the hell is the word? It's driving me out of my mind. Chronicle. Well, I don't know what the hell, but this is
chronological.
No,
What are
there's
we
a
trying to describe?
Tarantino, Guy Ritchie, where the segmented stories intertwine and then they come together in the end. The three different plots are all together. What the hell? If you look up Pulp Fiction, it'll tell you what the type of movie it is, and that's now you showed me. Somebody showed me that thing from Pulp Fiction that Uma Thurman is describing the Kill Bill characters.
A little bit.
That's incredible.
Bit.
That's really cool. That's good stuff.
Tarantino has like his own world. Like there's theories on Tarantino where he, so you take Inglourious Bastards, how they killed Hitler.
Yep.
That made that so Pulp Fiction exists in a world where Hitler was killed that way.
Really?
So it kind of makes violence a little more like acceptable. You know what I mean?
Huh.
Like it makes things a little. It makes the world a little different.
Are you okay?
And like there isn't the Charlie Manson like that shit got spoiled.
It
like
got snuffed out.
Like in what was that Once Upon a Time in Hollywood?
Oh, yeah.
So he's got his own little universe. There's Reservoir Dogs is a great one.
Mm-hmm. One thing that bothers me not about Tarantino, or you just reminded me because how hot Margot Robbie is. We all agree Margot Robbie is unreal, right?
Oh yeah.
And everybody agrees Margot Robbie is unreal. But I think she looks exactly like the girl from My Name is Earl, and nobody ever talks about her.
Jamie Presley.
Smoke show. Look up Jamie Presley from, I believe it was Poison Ivy 2. Young Jamie Presley. Look at this freaking 11 out of 10. And nobody ever talks about her.
She don't get her props?
She don't get her flowers.
All right.
I'm sure the comments are going to be, here goes fat guy simping. But let me tell you something. First of all, My Name is Earl. Unbelievably great show.
My man Ethan Suplee in that. That dude, how about him? How about the shape? He was Louis Lastic, known for being the big fat motherfucker.
Yep.
He came down. We got to get him on the podcast.
That'd
soon.
be dope.
We'll get him down.
Loved him in Wolf of Wall Street. Yeah.
Yeah, he's great in everything, man.
Yeah,
he's a real
really good.
great guy too.
Is he?
Great person.
Is
great
he?
person. It's
Awesome.
nice when people that like you're a fan of
Yeah.
and you meet are actually like a cool motherfucker.
But My Name is Earl got canceled on a cliffhanger.
Oh shit.
On a cliffhanger. We don't know who the father of Earl's son is. It gets canceled on a cliffhanger.
Father of Earl's son?
Yeah.
It wouldn't be Earl?
You've never watched the show.
I used to, but I didn't watch it like that.
Well, the idea is that hopefully it does become Earl, but it's been raised as other people's kids. And it's a great show, and they're going towards an obvious great finish, and the show gets canned.
What is that, Jason Lee?
How have they not made a movie out of all the things the internet can do? The internet can bring back Clerks 3, but we can't bring back, a My Name is Earl movie.
You really like My Name is Earl?
I love My Name is Earl.
And you love
Seinfeld.
Seinfeld.
I do.
I like King of Queens better than Seinfeld.
Oh, that's
Kevin James?
There's no way.
Fuck yeah,
It's not
bro.
even close.
Hell yeah.
King of Queens isn't even as good as Everybody Loves Raymond.
King Queens way better than Everybody Loves Raymond.
You're out of your mind.
No, I'm
You're out of your mind.
No, I'm not.
The only thing that's
King
better
Queens is great.
What's better? What's better?
I like I think Kevin James is great.
Yep.
I like Lee Remini.
Yep.
I like
Not better
Deacon.
than Elaine Bennis. Deacon's cool for the 7 seconds he's in it.
I like
Patton
all that shit. I
Oswalt
like
is
Patton
cool
Oswalt
for the 11 seconds.
I like
so Patton Oswalt.
I like Arthur Stiller or Jerry Stiller.
There you go.
who
Now we're
plays
starting.
Arthur.
Okay. Now he's the wild
fantastic.
card. But he's also in Seinfeld, and he's hilarious in Seinfeld.
Okay. Yeah, I'm sticking to my guns, brother. There's nothing you can tell me.
Kevin James probably funnier than Jerry Seinfeld, but the brilliance of Seinfeld is it was the very first sitcom where the lead wasn't the guy saying the punchlines. The lead,
He's like the straight man.
the lead is the audience proxy.
Okay.
And it's the humility of Jerry Seinfeld to go into that writer's room and not be like, no, that Bogart.
I need more jokes.
Yeah, and not Bogart the punchline. Jerry is there. Everybody else is crazy around Jerry. Jerry doesn't do many crazy things. It's Kramer's crazy. George is crazy. Elaine
And
is
George
crazy.
is Larry David.
Yeah.
And Larry David. Now, how did they split up the writing of that show?
Well, it's a collaborative environment.
Okay.
Yeah, it's from.
So it was created by. Who's it created by? Was it created by Seinfeld?
Larry
by
David and Jerry Seinfeld. They were collaborative on it.
So they were working together. Like was Larry David a stand-up?
I think
he must have at least.
He
been
was
involved in
writing
the
on
scene.
Saturday Night Live. I know that he had written on Saturday Night Live. That's where he met Elaine. Elaine was part of that lost season of Saturday Night Live where they call it the worst season ever, but it was Robert Downey Jr. and maybe.
Oh no shit! I didn't know that.
Yeah. It's Lorne Michaels really blew it. They had gone through their first. They kind of tried to do a Saved by the Bell New Generation, rebrand Saturday Night Live with all these young cool kids, and it was horrible.
Really?
But those kids were genuinely talented. It was just bad.
It just wasn't. Didn't fit right.
Yeah, and so Larry David knows Elaine Bennis. Now, what's crazy about Seinfeld is, they didn't want George because Larry David, talk about humility and ego, Larry David didn't want a short, fat, bald guy in the role. So they had offered it to Danny DeVito, and then apparently Larry David blew a gasket over it. And then the guy that they really wanted, apparently, according to lore, was Chris Rock. Chris Rock was supposed to be George.
No shit.
Yeah, and I
might have liked the show more if it was.
But he hadn't blown up yet. He hadn't become Chris Rock yet. This is right before.
And I wonder if that would have pigeonholed him a little bit. Had he played that part?
It would have been hard for him to go do
all the shit he did.
He came out with those two massive specials that were very not Seinfeld.
Sure. Could have changed his voice a little bit.
Yeah. Could have turned him more into an Aziz Ansari type of a guy instead of Chris motherfucking Rock.
Yeah.
So who knows? But I don't know. I think the genius of Seinfeld, the brilliance of Seinfeld, is almost like one other guy maybe in history. Jack Benny, is the guy that didn't have to. He's a star that had the humility not to have every punchline.
Who's Jack Benny? What's that?
Old school guy. Bob Hope, Jack Benny, one of the OGs of comedy. Comedy as a stand-up.
I'm very young. You forget this.
A lot of people don't know who they are. A lot of people don't know. But stand-up is a very new thing. Even though being a comedian, a jester, you used to have to be vaudevillian. You sing, dance, do these other things. Comedy was just one aspect of it. And kind of Jack Benny, Bob Hope, Red Fox, these guys really. What's his name? Who kept getting arrested? I always forget his name. Who's now been immortalized by Marvelous Miss Maisel. Lenny Bruce.
Oh, okay.
These guys really made stand-up, the one-man show, a thing.
Okay.
And Jack Benny, he was the king of the nonverbal. He's kind of the Sebastian Maniscalco of his day, where his punchlines were his eyes and his face.
Okay.
Bob Newhart, these are guys where they would tell a joke just with their body, and Bob Lemon, great actors, guys that can non-verbally communicate to the audience in ways that would just drive people crazy. Rodney Dangerfield, as funny as he was, when his he'd make my mom and my dad lose it. My grandfather would lose his shit with a look from Rodney Dangerfield, with those eyes would look like they'd blow up out of his head. Just really, really, really talented cream of the crop acts. I mean, these are the pinnacle. Bob Hope, Jack Benny, what's his name? Mr. Perfect, fucking the Rat Pack. Come on, the great Don Rickles.
Oh, Don Rickles.
Don Rickles.
Okay. Yeah.
Pryor, Red Fox. These Carlin. These are the best of the best of the best. And Carlin would have listened to a Benny and a Hope and a Lenny Bruce and a Red Fox, and these are the Godfathers.
I saw George Carlin do stand up before he died.
No shit.
Yeah,
Live?
I was a fan of him since I was young. I remember I watched a special of him on I saw him live.
What'd you think of Carlin live? Did you like it?
Yeah. I mean, I love George Carlin. It was cool to see him live. I don't think it was his I don't think it wasn't the prime best. It wasn't the best comedy show I've ever seen. But it was cool to be able to see him and shit like that.
What is the best comedy you've ever seen?
Man, so I can relate comedy to like fighting in ways. One way being that it takes like 10 years to get good. You know what I mean? You got to fucking put a lot of work in.
At least.
Right?
Yeah.
So I think the best, you got to go like for the times where I've like just laughed my ass off, where I've been like, it's almost like a hypnosis thing where you're riding their wave, their train of thought. They're setting you up, their beats, they're getting you where you're like up on the wave and then you crash. Totally. You know what I mean? And you're all laughing, you're falling out, you're fucking clapping, and you know what I mean? Especially have a couple drinks in you and stuff. I like it. It's really good. Yeah, comedy's good. It's funny.
But I wish
I gotta say. So I'm Big J, tremendous. I remember I saw Ari. Ari was great. I go to a Stress Factory a lot. Mm-hmm. Shout out Vinny Brand and that crew over there. You know what I mean? Joey Coco Diaz, obviously hilarious. Fucking. So I loved seeing fucking you, bro. You fucking killed me. You were awesome. When you were telling me not to come, I'm so glad I fucking went. You were like, bro, it's this shitty show over here, whatever. I was like, nah, I'm coming. Bro, you fucking killed it. You were great. And the person before you was eating a fucking dick. It was so bad. I felt bad for this motherfucker. It was uncomfortable. He was like repeating the joke, if you build it, they will come.
Oh,
folks.
Brutal.
Like I felt bad for the guy.
Yeah.
But I got there right in time. I saw you, and then you had that whole fucking room I don't think they were looking to laugh at anybody. They were like trying to have dinner and shit, and you went in there and fucking you slayed that place.
I appreciate that, man. I appreciate that. That was fun. Yeah, the room matters. The room matters.
Sure.
You know, like I wish people understood that. Like as comedy, when you go to see comedy, like you are a part of the show. Like you give us energy, you're gonna get so much energy back in return. Like bring the right energy. You guys come in and you're having a couple drinks. You're there to have a good time. Comics feel it and take it to another level, man. And
I have a not popular one who I thought was great. I remember me and my dad saw Amy Schumer at Stress Factory one time. She was fucking great.
Yeah, I don't think
people hate on her though a lot, right?
I think people hate on her because of
her success.
Maybe, but also
but they say she steals jokes,
that's
right?
It. Yeah, that's it. I don't think anybody has ever said that she's not a great performer of comedy.
Okay.
It's kind of that whole Carlos Mencia thing. It's like nobody would say he's a bad performer of comedy.
Right. But you got to come up with your own shit.
Yeah, or at least give the people money and credit if you're taking it from them. Like, ask their permission. This is our intellectual property. This is.
Yo, I thought Ari's Juice special was great. Saw it twice.
He's very. I mean, that was very good.
Super. It's all thematic and but that shit was so good.
Shane Gillis. I lost. You talk about the Stress Factory. I made it to the quarters, final four of their big March Madness comedy contest. This is many years ago. And I'm like, pretty cool. There's like 130 comics and I make it to the final four, right? And I do this bit about Bill Clinton that was like a great bit for me at the time and did really well. And I walk off stage all cocky. I'm like, I got the crowd in the palm of my hand. I crushed it. This fucking guy, Shane Gillis, who I never heard of ever before in my life, this big fucking Pennsylvania sounding yinzer ass motherfucker goes up there and starts talking about how Jackie Robinson ruined baseball.
Shane Gillis has Danny McBride vibes.
Dude, he was 60 seconds into his bit and I'm like, let's fucking go. Let's leave.
You're like, it's over.
Let's
you knew he won.
Let's go.
Yeah.
The balls to even
He's funny.
this joke.
I saw him at Stress Factor. Him and I think Lewis, Jay, Ari, all those guys did something one time. Yeah, it was a good time. It was during the pandemic. They had us outside in the winter in tents and shit. It was a good time.
Yeah. I hit up Shane once. I was like, hey man, I got this idea for a joke on like Julius Caesar, and I can't make it funny, and I love the way that you're able to blah 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 blah. And I texted him, I was like, maybe we can work on it, and then he texted back. To his credit, I have no interest in workshopping jokes with you.
Good for you, Shane.
I was like, whoa, you know what?
Good for you.
Fair. Better than, hey, bud, just give me a call next week. We'll figure it out. No, the fact he
ripped that Band-Aid off, right, Omri?
He texted. Yep. He goes, I have no interest in workshopping.
I have no interest. That's fucking hilarious. That's great. Good for him.
All right. Well, shit. Yeah. Fuck me. All right.
He's a cool dude.
Never meet your idols.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Like, that was 60 seconds into his bit. I was like, oh, fuck.
You said he was talking about what? You said Jackie Robinson.
How Jackie Robinson ruined baseball. I don't know if he's ever done. I don't know if he's ever done the bit on camera. It's one of the greatest bits I've ever seen in my life. I mean, it was so. As a baseball player, it was so fun. He's like, you know how much fun. I don't want to do his bit if he doesn't have it recorded, but it's such a good bit.
Yeah,
it's so brilliant and it's so unassailable. You know, like it's he has this perfect way of finding the line. Very Louis C.K. in his style, where he knows where the line is and he crosses it, but he's apologetic about crossing it, so people allow him to keep crossing it. You know,
who are your favorite comedians?
Don Rickles.
Yeah, Rickles is amazing.
I love this new version.
I like that shit talking roast, and you know what I mean.
Yeah,
I love a roast. Like, roasts are great. Yeah,
you know the idea that it's all crowd work. I love that. It's kind of like the magician's tricks.
That's like Jay.
Yeah,
like Big J does that.
I do a lot of that too.
Yeah,
you know, you find your mark.
Yeah, well, that's what you're doing like the whole time practically up there.
Pretty much. Well,
yeah,
you know what? You have to, right? Like, because in an audience like that, you have to make it about them. That's kind of like what the room is. That's reading a room, right? There's some people that I think of it from a football perspective. To be honest with you, like it's running the option. You know, we do this and we read the defensive end. It's a pull read and it's a pitch. Like, I'm going to come out and I'm going to say this. And by the way they respond to it, I'm like, okay, we're doing politics. Nope, we're doing relationships. Oh, that didn't work. Oh, let's go to Fat Guy Does Stuff. That always works. You know, like, so you're thinking in your mind. And it's a weird place when you're in the fucking zone. You're there, but you're not there. You're in the future. Your mouth is moving and you're telling your jokes, you know, and your face is moving and you're doing your pantomimes. But your brain is in the future. You're thinking, all right, next, and it's like an assembly line, and then part of your brain is looking at the crowd, part of your brain is looking for their reaction, part of your brain is it's such a mental exercise, man. That like it's. I've heard you talk about the high of winning, and what everything about it is. Nothing will ever feel like hitting a ball and knowing it's gone the second it hits your bat. There's nothing I will ever feel in my life like getting the bat on a ball and it like your whole body just knows it. Oh, gotcha. And for a split second, time stands still. And you can't hear the crowd. You feel that connection. And next thing you know, that ball's gone.
You know how much better it feels to punch a motherfucker in the face and knock him down?
I don't.
I don't.
I can only imagine.
You've never punched him in the face and knocked him down in your life?
Of course, but I've never got paid for it. Normally after I do that, I got to run.
Yeah,
and now I'm doing cardio. This
like,
sucks.
This.
This is bullshit. Get out of here before the cops come.
Should have punked out.
I've never won a fight and gotten rewarded for it. That much I can assure you.
Man, well, it's cool because like you got all your training, all that time. Yeah. You're thinking about this motherfucker every day. And then when you fucking sink in the choke and they're tapping and the ref's grabbing you off, the relief, the high, there's nothing you could smoke, snort, or shoot that would give you that fucking
What it feel
feeling,
like with
bro.
CM Punk, man. You're in the UFC. You're a fucking kid. No one ever knew who you were. Now the whole world knows who you are. You just beat up one of the most famous people on earth. You just beat this motherfucker into the goddamn ground.
Well, here's the thing. I knew I was supposed to, had to. Like, I knew going into, so when I fought him, it was like I had to be perfect. I had to give this dude a fucking goose egg. He couldn't do one good thing. If he did one good thing, it was
a Jake Paul situation.
So it was almost like I had.
You don't want to be, God forbid, you're Ben Askren getting fucking.
I couldn't. I felt like if I let him do one, if he had landed one anything, it would be bad.
Wow.
Yeah, so it had to be a perfect thing. Like then when my fights when I fought Sage after, I was like, all right. Now we can have a fight, you know what I mean? The give and take, the feeling out, all that shit. You can have a little more of that, you know? With that one, it just had to be perfect. I had to give him a fucking goose egg.
What did it feel like getting pulled off of him? What did it feel like?
Almost like more relief.
Relief.
More relief.
Not euphoria.
Yeah. There's a lot of relief to it. So you never know. You can slip on a fucking banana peel. And at the end of the day, it's two men throwing bones at each other. There's, it's talk about football, a game of inches, a game of fucking millimeters, bro.
Let me tell you,
a game of millimeters, and everything could be different. You could have. There's been times where you don't feel like your best self. You better have your best self in that moment. You can't be like, could we fight in like 2 hours?
Yep.
I felt that way before.
Yeah.
Or like I was like, give me like if I could just fight in like an hour later, it'd be better.
Yep.
That's why I say like I've won plenty of fights in a minute.
Yep.
When if that fight happens 2 hours later, that could be a 3-round fucking war. You never know, man. It's
bro. You're speaking to my soul right now. When I get off and I have a set, now it's a completely different thing, But when I get off, especially when I'm on the road and there's money involved and it's a big room, you know, I want to get booked here. I need the headline here.
Relief.
Make money. I am relieved. People come up and they're like, man, you were really funny. I'm like, thank God.
Yeah.
I'm glad you liked it. Thank God.
Yeah.
And he's not like, yeah, of course I was. Why wouldn't I be? It's,
Yeah.
I got it done.
Yeah.
Whew. All right. You know, and then the 2-hour thing makes all of a sudden. We went to the stand. You know, I felt like I ate shit. You're like, you did good compared to everybody else. Yeah, but for me, I ate shit. I'm used to a better reaction than that. I'm used to more reaction. I know when the jokes hit and when they don't. And jokes that should have hit weren't hitting. Because I've been drinking for fucking 5 hours. If I went up 2 hours earlier, I'm sharper. It's on me. You know, so it's that 2-hour thing that you're talking about. And I'm thinking about it the whole week. We were hanging out the next day. I'm thinking about the whole fucking next day. I'm like, I missed this fucking word in that bit. This punchline doesn't land because I rushed the fucking this. And that's all I'm thinking about.
Yeah.
I'm not thinking about like, hey, man, I did pretty good at a fucking good comedy club. I'm like, I blew 3 of my fucking jokes. Yeah. Because my dumb ass was fucking drinking and partying.
Yeah.
You know, like.
It's good to be critical of yourself, man. You should be your own biggest critic, you know?
Yeah. You gotta do it. You gotta.
If you're gonna, you know, if you're aspiring for
you
greatness,
gotta do it right, man.
If you're aspiring for greatness, you have to be, you know, like super, like stringent, strict on yourself, and you know, hypercritical. Right?
Dude. When I play, those are the teammates I love the most because I can never be like them. Where they were just like, hey man, it's just a game, bro. Like after a game, I'd be like fucking stewing on that fastball I missed 3-1.
Well,
like,
there's a line where you got to be able to have a short memory.
You do,
and you can't like it's all like. And it's like especially with fighting, it's like you can't let the highs get too high or the lows get too low.
Yeah,
because it is those extremes. You know what I mean? Like I talked about it before. Like when, so like when you lose a fight, it's like a shock to your fucking system. Cause you for months, you know, you've been thinking about this dude. You've been thinking about the outcome. You're thinking about how good your life's gonna be after, and then it's literally like I talked about this on Chaz's.
Yep.
When it was after my boy fought, and I've lost before. My boy fought, he lost, and we go down into the back, and I'm walking with him. We're all there, you know. It's like a fucking funeral, because there's nothing you can say. I can say like sorry for your loss.
Yeah,
it's a fucking funeral to his dreams, to his what he imagined his life, what he thought he'd be feeling right now. It's the polar opposite. So it's like but you gotta pull yourself up. You can't let the lows get that low.
Yeah.
You know, and it's hard. And the highs, when you're the fucking man, you can't be letting that shit go to your head either. When you win and you're the GOAT, you're the fucking this and that, you gotta check yourself too. And know that, you know, you still got a lot there's always ways you have to grow, and there's you know.
Yeah.
Yeah. Keep that boat kind of on even waters.
I couldn't do it. There's no way I could go 6 months without getting that satisfaction. There's no way. I couldn't sit on a loss, deal with the bullshit, deal with the haters, and be like, all right, you'll see tomorrow.
Yeah.
You'll see. I mean, that was one of the best things about, you know, playing on the road, and you're dealing, and I'm talking minor league baseball. There's 1,000 fucking people in the stands. This isn't 1 million fucking people watching. Somebody talks shit, and then you hit a home run the next day, and you stand there. You're standing there for everybody in the crowd to be like, yeah, motherfucker. Remember when you said that shit yesterday?
Right.
Yeah. How do you like me now, bitch?
You got to have a kind of a self-confidence and you got to know yourself to know that like one thing doesn't define a man, you know? And you have to know that, you know, or believe that there's going to be a better tomorrow.
Is that something that you have as a person? Is that a personality trait, or is that something that you can learn? Is that something you can mature into?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, you can't. Some people are more confident than others, sure. But that's something that you can always, you know, that's something you can work on. It's still a workable thing. Like I think almost anything, like you could really make your life whatever you want to be. But it depends how bad you fucking want it.
Yeah.
If you want it bad enough, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
If I wanted to go be a fucking doctor tomorrow, if I really, really wanted that and I wanted to put my own to that, I could go be a great doctor.
I don't think people know how to translate their wants and desires into achievable goals. I think that is the hardest thing for every human on earth. Every human on earth can listen to what you're saying, but they don't know how to put a plan together. And then they don't have steps in place if they have a plan to execute that plan. You know, so it's one thing to say, I want to do this and I dream of doing this, but then how do I execute
But that's the thing.
that?
My grandpa used to always say, wish in one hand and shit in the other. See which one fills up first. if you're just wishing and dreaming, that ain't gonna do anything. You
love
gotta
that.
take
I
fucking
love
action. You gotta take action.
Yeah.
You know? Yeah. So 100%.
So
You gotta figure it out. You gotta formulate a plot. You gotta come up with a step, and you gotta take that first next step. First step. Rome wasn't built in a day. Take a step. Get closer.
So
take another step.
what are some action items for somebody that suffered a
depends what
great
they're trying
personal
to do.
setback? Just a great personal loss, a great personal setback. They got fired. They had to declare bankruptcy. Like what are some steps that they have to do to reclaim that agency?
You gotta keep working. You gotta work towards it. You gotta do. So if you're fired and don't have a job, you gotta start looking at where there's openings. You gotta find and you have to
Where does self-evaluation come into this process?
You should always be you have to be real with yourself always.
Is there a thin line between being real with yourself and being too hard on yourself? Because I think self-talk is very important. I think some people can talk themselves into a place where they don't believe in themselves either.
Sure. Yeah, that's a problem because it's like that manifesting stuff, If you're like, oh, I'm a fucking idiot, or I got no luck, I this, that, then you're going to stay down.
Mm-hmm.
And it almost seems a little corny. And it is a kind of a little corny, but you got to have, no, I'm the fucking man.
Mm-hmm.
Is there fucking Mickey fucking Gall? I'm gonna do what I need to do. I'm gonna take action.
So I mean, but there's that duality as well, where ego and pride make you who you are, but pride comes before the fall, right? So, there's
pride comes before the fall. What's that?
Pride comes before the fall. I believe that's biblical, isn't it? Yeah, pride comes before the fall.
It's about the devil, I think.
Yeah, which. Christians aren't going to like this, but what did the devil really do that's wrong? He wanted to be he was ambitious. He wanted to be equal to God. He was disobedient to the authority.
Outshine the master.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird? He tried to rule of power number 1, don't outshine the master. God in that argument comes off worse to me. God comes off as petty. The devil comes off as...
You got to talk to Ruslan about that. Or even
I would love to talk to Ruslan about
even,
that.
Our boy Tony.
Tony would be great
Tony
to talk
Olives,
to about
yeah,
that. I'd like to talk to a theologist about it. I mean, because look, I'm not saying the devil's good or whatever. I'm just saying, there's all those. I think the Eastern ideologies really do a good job of that. And Freud with the id, the ego, and the superego. You need this.
Right.
You need this. There's Norse mythology. I have that rune that I wear that I've lost. I don't know where it is, but I had that rune.
Rune?
Yeah, it's a rune. So these Viking
Roon?
Rune. So it was after a successful raid, after a successful campaign, whoever led the raid would be bestowed this rune, and it has the 2 wolves. And what's interesting about it is that it's Norse mythology of the 2 wolves, but in Native American mythology, it's the same as well. And there's it's basically the warrior and the gardener, right? It's this one wolf is aggression and ego, and it's the warrior ethos, and the other one is diplomacy and intellect, right? And it's the diplomat ethos. And if which wolf grows bigger is the one you feed more. But if you have all of one, you become all of this, and that's not good. And you have all of the other, you become all of this, and that's not good. If you're all warrior, if you're all hammer, then all you see are nails. If you're all nail, then everyone will hammer you. It's that,
interesting.
It's that homeostasis. It's that idea of yin and yang.
Yeah.
And I think that's what maturity really is. I think maturity really is, there's this understanding of who you are, and then there's this understanding of what parts of you work and what parts of you need to work on. And those are different steps in maturity. Like, Omri was asking us before the podcast, when did you become a man? What is it to become a man? And
right. And when you're a kid, you think the adults, they know everything. They one day I'll be an adult and I'll know everything.
I'll know everything.
But no, you're still that same person.
Then you
just grow. But you grow. You stay evolving.
You become an adult and you realize I don't know shit.
And you realize these fucking our parents and these adults don't know shit either.
But that's where a mentor becomes so important. We keep talking about community. A mentor, a guy like David Adiv, man, I love that dude. That dude was fantastic explaining away that's one little aspect of, but in that niche aspect, right?
Yeah.
I wouldn't ask him to teach me how to fix a car. You know, like there's everybody knows something about something, and you can take a little bit from everybody, right? Like, you know, that's, you know, kind of the idea of, you know, we talked a few episodes back about, you know, bad guys, and I go back to that Chaz thing that we saw, you know, last week. You know, you talking about doing a good thing for a bad guy. Well, you know, these guys never did nothing bad to me. You know, these people have been good to me. You know, can good people do bad things? Does it make them a bad person? You know, and I'm getting off the beaten path of what we're talking about here, but this duality of, you know, how do you become the best version of yourself? What is it? Like, how do you have to self-evaluate?
Everyone's is different too.
You have to self-evaluate, like you said. But if you spend too much time self-evaluating, you become self-destructive.
Right.
You know, then there has to be an action. You have to have action here.
Yeah.
Self-evaluate, create a plan, action towards that plan.
Yeah.
But if you make the action too big, then it becomes, it almost seems insurmountable, right? Like, I want to lose 100 pounds. You lost 20 pounds, but it's taking you 2 months. You're like, this is taking forever. I'm just going to eat. Got to lose 1 pound. That's Kaizen. That's the Japanese idea of Kaizen. So
the small incremental steps.
Small incremental steps over
Rome
time.
wasn't built in a day.
Nope. Take a 20-year view. But in order to make that 20-year plan happen, it
takes vision, discipline.
It's 1,000 daily plans.
Yeah.
It's 2,000 daily plans, and you got to execute on those plans. And that's where I think Eastern philosophies probably do better than Western philosophies. Yeah. I think Eastern philosophies tend to be a little more realistic in that, right? Like humility and ego, the samurai idea, the warrior in the garden, you know, understanding that you need to be a dangerous person, but you need to know how to control that dangerous person.
Right.
You know, where do you think these ideas, again, I ask you, like, are there certain people that are more prone to this? Are there teachers that teach you this? Where do people find these answers?
That's a good question, man.
Well, we talked about books earlier in this. I think reading the Stoics, Plato, Marcus Aurelius.
Help. Yeah, I think a lot of that stuff is like it's within the, you know.
Yeah.
It's like it's all out there for you, and it's also like it's within you as well.
That's
you
a great
kind of a lot of times we like to search out, but sometimes like you need to like search within. You know what I mean? Kind of dig up a part of you, and I think like a lot of times people are always trying to like add shit to themselves. Like, I need to, if I start taking this pill or this vitamin or this something, or I need more protein, I need more of this. Sometimes you just gotta like eliminate things.
Yeah, that's the idea. I'm not enough. That's the insecurity.
Yeah.
And that there's a magic potion that'll somehow do X, Y, Z.
Yeah.
But sometimes there is. Sometimes you do need more protein.
Sure.
This world is like, there's no fucking
duality,
answers.
bro. It's duality.
We have nothing but questions.
Yeah.
There's no fucking answers.
Yeah.
There's no. Maybe that's what real maturity is. Maybe that's what real maturity is.
Kind
maybe
real.
Accepting
I
don't fucking
parts
know.
Of things. Yeah, bro.
Know.
That's what I'm always saying. You gotta be honest. If you don't know, you don't know.
You got me, man.
Too many fucking people out here wanting to say what it is.
Well, there's a massive cottage industry for that. That's that Andrew Tate, Jordan Peterson, who I love. You know, there's. I feel like there's a new life coach every goddamn day on social media that's teaching people how to live. Therefore, I've got the fucking answers.
It's real easy to tell other people what
to do. Eat fucking liver. Eat liver and ball testicles.
To tell other people what to do. But then you got to see if those people are doing themselves. And a lot of the people who are like given the self-help, I think are some of the most unhappy people.
You think so?
Yeah. Yeah, it's easy to tell. It's easy to go be someone else's life coach. Do this, 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 and this. All right, but what is that life coach doing? Mm-hmm. It's like when you see like a fat trainer. Mm-hmm. You know, it's like
I don't know. Bill Belichick knows a lot about football, though. You got to be careful.
No,
some people know. Those who can't teach.
Right, because it's easier.
Yeah,
it's easier to do that.
Well, that's not true. There's different people. Like there's like somebody like Bill Belichick, right? He was short, small, slow. He had to learn the game to be able to compete even at a Division III level.
A lot of times, someone who's good at football or good at something like the best fighters don't make the best coaches.
Absolutely not.
The best fighters don't make the best coaches. The ones who like weren't as gifted and had to rely on technique and intellect and things like that are a better coach.
I actually have a good story on that. I took a BP once with Albert Pujols, and like I was just sitting there like, wow, this is incredible. Holy shit. Like this is real. And it was really cool because I had watched this guy growing up. It was an idol. And you think of these guys as like them being like 10 feet tall and 5 feet wide. And here I am going eye to eye, shoulder to shoulder. I'm like, man, I'm the same size as Albert Pujols. Holy shit. And I'm watching him get those hands out. I'm like, I can get the hands out. I'm watching. He's just a man. He's just a man. Right?
Everybody is.
I can do what he does. That was day one. Day two, the dude's got the pitching machine cranked up to 110 from 45 feet at the base of the mound. And he's line drive, whap, back of the net, whap, back of the cage. I can hit a fastball. Me and my roommate, Buck, we went in there on Brian Buck, and we were like, after he left, and we were like, let's try this. Bro, I couldn't even see the ball. Mm-hmm. It was the most terrifying thing. I heard woof, whap. The ball had hit the mat behind me. I said, holy shit.
Got to build up. You think he just stood in front, at that?
My
you
guy
think he
was
just stood in front?
It up.
Okay, but how long do you think he's been doing that for?
He built different. So third day, I see him. We actually build up to talking to him, and I'm like, hey, what are you working on? Like, are you working on something? Like, what are you working on? He goes, yeah, if the ball's inside, I'm going to hit it out of the ballpark to left field. The ball's outside, I'm going to hit it out of the ballpark to right field. That's what he's working on. And I remember telling my father, I was like, I think Albert Pujols big league the shit out of me, man. He was like, why? I'm like, I was like, hey, what are you working on? I figured he'd talk about getting his foot down, getting his hands out, talk about the nuances of hitting. And he's like, ball's inside, I hit it out of the ballpark to the left. If the ball's outside, I hit it out of the ballpark to the right. And I was like, nah, that's how it is to him. It's like asking Picasso how to paint. I'm like, hey, how do you paint? He goes, well, I take the paintbrush and I put it in a fucking paint and then I put it on the paper. Well, how do you paint? Because to them, that's just what it is.
Right.
Exactly. That's
what
it is.
That's why like a good athlete won't always make the best. So that's why I'm interested in seeing like Deion Sanders. Super gifted, super talented.
Yep. Doing
good things at the school he's been at.
He's a great leader of men.
Jackson State.
Great leader of men.
Important. Very important.
Yeah.
Very important. So I'm going to be interested to see
they
how.
Said Barry Bonds was a horrible hitting coach. He's
I
just
bet.
Like, get to the
like,
ball.
Just hit the
I can't get to the fucking ball, Barry.
Yeah.
It's a 100-mile-an-hour fastball inside of my hands. I can't get to it. Just get
knock
to it.
him down, choke him out. It's easy.
Just knock him down.
Yeah.
Have you ever thought about knocking him out with a kick?
Yeah.
You
need to hit them and not be hit. Duh.
Good coaching.
Yeah.
Yeah. So sometimes our teachers aren't our best doers, but also there's a lot of fucking people that are complete full of shit.
Sure.
And they're just making cottage industries out of fucking. There's people that are getting wealthy telling other people how to get wealthy. They are not wealthy themselves.
Right.
They write books about how to become wealthy, and that book is what makes them wealthy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, they're charlatans as well. This world is a fucking zoo. This world is like, you have that's why, man, if you have a great group of people that you can trust, that you can believe in, it's everything.
Yeah.
I mean, that's kind of the Patriot way, right? Like, I mean, the idea is like, hey, I don't know if this works, but fuck, they won 3 Super Bowls. I'm going to listen. And that gives you that confidence. That gives you that confidence that what I'm doing is right. That gives you that confidence that, man, hey.
I got to pick a bone with something you said, though. You said about Albert Pujols.
Yeah.
When I was trying to tell you that, no, he didn't just go up there his first time trying to put the thing at 110 from 45 feet away and start hitting the ball.
I never saw anybody do that regardless.
All right,
some guys
let me
different.
fucking finish. The point is, he had to build up to that. People see someone do something, think they just, he got lucky or this and that. Mm-hmm. Like, take even myself. When I got the CM Punk fight, I was 2-0 pro. I was 1-0. I got signed to the UFC. Mm-hmm. Right? Like I just started doing fucking MMA last week or something. I've been doing that shit for years.
Sure.
I've been doing that shit for years. A lot of work goes on in the shadows when people don't see. I guarantee you, Albert Pujols was putting in years and years of work. He was doing it, doing the ball 90 from 60. All right, this is getting easier. All right, now I'm gonna move it up a little bit, turn up the speed a little bit. Incremental improvements is what made him able to do that. He's not just built differently.
No, it's not one or the other, buddy. He's
not just built differently.
The story also, just so people know, I'm a dog shit rookie baller. The fact that he was even at the ballpark hitting 3 hours before the big leaguers had to get there with us assholes shows you how hard he works. This is a guy worth $100 million. Is there 3 hours early, working with us nobodies.
Exactly.
Yadier Molina got up 6 o'clock in the morning.
That's why he's built differently because of the work he's put in.
No doubt about it. We're also talking about one of the greatest of all time. There's a lot of people that put in work, and there's a lot of people that do, and they don't do it to that level.
Kobe.
Great is great. You can't take away greatness, and not everybody can work up to that level. Some people are. It's that.
I
it's
think
that
if one man can do
crossing-
it, if you're focused enough, intense enough, crazy enough,
Yeah.
you can do it.
maybe.
If one
But
man
if
can
you
do it,
weren't
why
built,
couldn't
if you
anyone
weren't-
else?
If you weren't born with the physical gifts that you had, you could have the same exact training, and not have the same level of achievement. It's nature and nurture.
Right. But everyone's got their niche. Everybody has something that they're going to be exceptional at. I don't think there's just dog shit humans where they're just good for nothing. I think everybody has their particular gifts, and you just need to figure out how to bring those out of yourself. You think there's dog shit humans?
Yeah, I do.
Yeah.
I do. I think that there's people that are just net negatives on society. And,
Yeah,
and
well,
that doesn't
like
mean
we
that
said, man, it
anything
makes
should
it pretty
happen
easy
to
to
them. I'm not-
survive nowadays. You
I'm
just
not-
go, you know what I mean? It is easy to survive, but I think there's a lot of things that will lead to them seeming like a dog shit person or a net negative.
Mhm.
And it could be the way they're brought up. It could be
Yeah.
people around them. But I think you can make that switch. They just never made the switch. They never tried or never learned how or never cared to make the switch. So they stayed in a vicious cycle that just kept them down and kept them not doing much.
Maybe. I'll agree with you on this. I think it's really, really, really dangerous and detrimental to compare your day one to somebody else's day 100. That I agree with.
Yes.
I 100, and I've seen that jiu-jitsu, learning, boxing. My God, like try to hit a speed bag for the first time in your life, and you think you're going to do it like Tyson. You feel like you've never used your hands before.
Mm-hmm.
I get it. So I think that that's something that everybody should understand. Never compare your day one to somebody else's day 100, for sure. But I do also think that there's a certain maximum capacity that people have, and I don't think everybody's maximum capacity is the same.
Yeah, I think that's kind of limiting thought though. I can yes, some people are gonna be born like with less fast twitch or shorter or not as intelligent, but it's all things are things that can be worked on and improved.
Yeah, you can improve upon things, but I think that there's a maximum capacity for that improvement. And then
I feel like that's putting caps on shit though, because who's to say what the maximum improvement of that is?
Your genetics.
I bet if you worked hard,
genetics.
All right, but whatever your genetics, I bet if you worked harder,
there is a
make
birth
shit happen,
lottery
so-
aspect to this too. You can maximize
Sure.
your
For
gifts
sure.
you were born with, and you can find the right path that will then maximize the monetization of those gifts you were born with. But I don't think that there's Omri, God bless you, bro. There's nothing you could have done to play in the NBA. Not a thing. There's not an amount of training that you could do. You weren't going to play in the NBA.
I don't agree. See Muggsy Bogues?
Yep.
Shorter
Muggsy
than
Bogues
Omri.
could dunk, fast twitch.
Okay,
Built different.
But he was balling since a little kid. I bet.
Muggsy Bogues was the fastest guy on the court, and there's been one Muggsy Bogues. One. Spud Webb, two. I'm not, and this is no disrespect. And I understand, like, there's a beauty in what you're saying.
Man,
and this
he
is
grows
why
up in downtown Chicago. You know what I'm saying?
he's got a better chance of being a drug kingpin than he does being a point guard. All right? But this type of talk right here is why women...
Whatever, as long as you aspire to the top of your
This is
class.
why women love Mick and they hate me. How dare I say this? How dare
Well,
I
I
say
just- I don't
How
think it's-
dare
I
I
don't
say
think
this
it's-
factually
no.
accurate thing?
I don't
You
think-
that's
I don't
why
think
they
it's-
hate you and love Mick?
I don't think
That's
it's
the reason?
100%.
Yeah,
I don't
that's
think-
the
only
sole reason.
I don't
The
think.
sole.
I just don't think it's 100% factual. And I think people thinking that can do exactly what you like kind of warned against of kind of like capping. I'm gonna call it like capping yourself, putting yourself on like I'm only this good. I'm only
Yeah.
oh man, I didn't have the luck. I didn't have the
Sure.
I wasn't born with the fast twitch.
But you
or I
should be
wasn't- I
realistic
wasn't born
too, though.
small-
You said you got
smart
to
enough.
self-evaluate.
Yeah.
So you got to self-evaluate. And I'm not saying kill yourself. I'm not saying float off into the ocean. I'm saying, look, either find a way or make a way. You know, you can't become a point guard in the NBA. Become mega rich and buy the team,
Right.
right? Like,
I agree with that.
but don't waste your time and say the world is
And
against
just be
me.
like, I couldn't make. The
I did
NBA, so
everything.
it's
I
done.
did everything I can do, and I didn't make it. Yeah, because you were 5'7".
Right.
The world's not against you. You played the wrong hand.
Yeah.
You were dealt a hand, and you decided to go all in anyway. That's not the card's fault.
Right.
At some point, you needed to reevaluate and say, "Fold, this is not my hand." As
Right.
much as I wanted it to be, as much as I desperately wanted it to be, it's not it. It's not it. But that doesn't mean the game's over. It means you got to play a different hand. That's what I'm saying. I'm not saying 16-year-olds seeing this, you're not going to be an astronaut, kill yourself. It's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is self-evaluate and reevaluate.
Well, yeah, I don't know. I think it could be an astronaut.
It's easier to be an astronaut. It's easier to be an astronaut than it is to be anything
Guy
we're
has some
talking
confidence, dog.
about.
Have some
But how
confidence.
is what I'm saying have anything? I'm not saying not have confidence.
Right.
You know, I'm not even saying stay in your lane. I'm saying be honest with yourself. All right. And there's people that get way more out of themselves than, David Eckstein got way more out of himself. I'm sure that there's fighters out there that people who grew up with them are like, this guy's fighting in the UFC. I'm sure.
Right.
And they figured it out. And God bless those guys. But I'm also saying, you have to be ruthless in that self-evaluation. If you want to be amongst the 1% of the 1%, you need to know every fucking inch of yourself that's going to get you there.
Yes.
And you need to be doing everything you possibly could to get there. And then if you do all that and still don't get there, you have to know it's not society that failed or even you that failed. It's that you had limitations from the beginning and you decided to go down this road. This was a choice you made.
Right. No, I agree with that. I agree with that for sure.
But whatever. All good. Anything else before we get out of here?
I don't know. Omri, we got anything else?
No, I think we're good.
All right.
Yeah, it's been a little long. I feel like we've almost been kind of arguing, but kind of saying the same things at the same time.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? I don't know. I don't know what the. I just think it's almost. Now that you put it that way, it makes sense. But I think even kind of hearing what you're saying is it can be limiting to someone.
Well, I'm not talking about.
It can make their ambition be seem more daunting.
I'm not talking about you. I'm talking specifically about these.
I
life
know you're not
coaches.
talking about
these
me.
Life coaches.
I'm talking about.
You know what I'm talking about with these life coaches and shit. The only reason you're not rich is you're not working hard enough. You're an idiot. You're this. You're that. No, that's not it. That's not it. There are limitations sometimes. Sometimes you don't have.
But I think they could also be falsely perceived limitations too, and I think that's more dangerous. I think that's more dangerous to put those caps on yourself.
What is a cap if there's not a reasonable, so you think there's zero limitations on what you do? If you wanted to fly, there would be zero limitations for you to fly.
No, that's not what I'm saying.
So then I don't really understand. I think that it's perfectly okay to be ambitious, but also have reasonable expectations and understand your limitations and boundaries.
Yes.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
And this idea that the only reason you're not rich is because you don't work 35 hours a goddamn day and you sleep 6 hours and blah, blah. No, that's not it. It's not the reason. You look at these guys who are like, you got to read 2 books a week. You got to do this. You got to fucking drink 48 gallons of water. You got to run 25 miles like David Goggins. And if you don't do it, you're a pussy. All right. Okay. All right. So if you're not an ultra marathoner in your spare time, you're wasting your life. Fuck out of here, David Goggins. That's gonna piss a lot. I'm friends with people that are very friendly with David Goggins. That's gonna piss them off. Fuck out of here.
Yeah, but that's his own little type of crazy, and he's done some crazy ass shit. He's run those miles. I do think David Goggins is just so gifted, or did he make himself tough?
I think that he had capacity.
I think
for endurance.
mental toughness is underrated.
Mental
toughness, focus it's underrated. And if you have those, you can do way more than you think or anyone thinks. So I don't like the I don't know. I think yes, you got to be realistic, obviously. Mm-hmm. But
to me, being realistic is part of resiliency. It's understanding where I'm at, what I can do, what I can't do, and being realistic in my. You shouldn't give up. To me, this is part of achievement. This is part of ambition. This is part of mental toughness. Is ascertaining what I can do and what I can't do. You know what I'm saying? I got to pivot here. I can't do this. This worked for them because he's different than me. He's built different in a most literal sense of the term. I
get
that.
it. LeBron would be better built for basketball than Omri.
I can't do anything on the basketball court LeBron James can do. And there's no amount of training that's going to get me to that level. He is built different, right? I'm never, under any circumstance, going to be a triathlete the level these guys are. I am built different than them. They can't bench press 500 pounds. They may not be able to hold an audience's attention for 60 minutes. There's things I'm better at than them, that I'm built different. So I don't need to do what they do the way they do it in order to be measured
and
successful.
That whole comparison will strip away happiness and
Correct.
joy and all that stuff. So it shouldn't be like a comparative thing like that for sure.
No, but also I hate that they're selling this as like, if you do this, you are 100% going to be successful. That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah,
it's bullshit.
For sure. No,
Grant Cardone, if you buy this house and you flip it, and then you take these two houses and you flip it. There's so many bullshit
artists out there trying to tell you like they got there's snake oil salesmen. They're telling you bullshit. Some of it's good, and there are those online mentors that like can help it.
Yep.
Yeah, a lot of them are. It's the ones trying to tell you how to be happy aren't happy themselves.
That's kind of where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
This cottage industry of, and again, this goes back to what I talked about. This binary, this false binary, man. Everything on the left is bullshit, and it sucks, and these people are hypersensitive, so then everything to the right of them must be right.
Yeah.
Fucking bad.
Yeah. Dangerous.
All your teachers are pussies. What I'm saying is right. Not true.
Yeah.
There's false prophets everywhere. Liver King, and people actually thought Liver King wasn't on juice. I mean, for real? For real?
He failed the eye test, the smell test, all that shit.
And he's not alone. There's thousands of these people selling fucking... There's, and everybody's looking for help is what I think is the weirdest thing, because it's circle back and we'll end the podcast on this. We're supposed to have answers. We don't have answers.
Yeah.
Nobody does.
Nobody
don't
knows
think
shit.
You're alone because you don't know. If you're listening to this and you made it all this way, this is your takeaway from today. If you don't know, God bless you, because nobody does. And everybody who says they does is full of fucking shit. They're lying to you. They may know a little about a lot, but they don't know everything. And we're all constantly looking for the answer.
Right.
We're all constantly growing. And Omri's talking about you became a man when you went into the military. And I'm telling you right now, as being a little bit older than you, I thought I was pretty manly at 20-5. 10 years on, I look back at 25-year-old me and I'm like, that was an asshole kid. I know shit. And that's cliche as hell.
No, that's facts though. The older you get, the more you kind of realize. And if you don't, then you're probably not evolving.
That's one of those moments for reevaluation that we're talking about.
Yeah.
If you're like, man, I've had my shit together for years, you might want to reevaluate.
Yeah, you could probably do better.
There's you're leaving some meat on the bone there, cuz.
Yeah.
Yeah. This was a good one, Mick. I enjoyed this one.
2 hours 21.
Nah, we're gonna cut a lot of this out.
We're gonna get a lot of this cut. Huh?
We're gonna cut a lot of this out.
Oh yeah, that's just been rolling the whole time.
It's been rolling.
Yeah, we're gonna cut out you saying 221, so they don't know how much we cut.
Okay. So where were we?
21. Can you cut some for me? All right, Mick. I really enjoyed this one. I enjoy this shit. I think again, man, like people that are listening to this shit, man, you're only gonna get real out of us. You're never gonna get fake.
Yeah.
So. Enjoy. Have a great Monday, everybody. Enjoy the rest of your Monday.
Hey, and if one man could do it, any man could do it. You go out there, you go do whatever the fuck you want.
Yeah, there's going to be somebody telling their boss to go fuck themselves right now.
Good.
Like, I can go do it. Yeah.
I hope they do.
Make sure you can have 6 months of rent paid before you do that. Have a plan is most important.
Or just make that shit happen, dog.
Yeah.
Make it happen.
Ask Mickey Mantle if you can't pay your rent. All right. For the great Mickey Gall, Omri, the people here at Gas Digital, if you're not subscribed, please do use our code S&T for a free week. I am Gerard Michaels, and this has been Slick and Thick. We will see you Friday.
Peace.